First, a beating of the Bees in Boston. Then at home, a draw as the Wild again doused the Flames. Followed by another conquering of Chicago. A 3-game unbeaten streak on the line next. Scenic Sunday afternoon as you get a look at one of the landmarks here in St. Paul, Minnesota, the beautiful St. Paul Cathedral. And right down the street, the brand new XL Energy Center, sold out again this afternoon for Wild hockey as they are set to face off against the Vancouver Canucks. And here at the XL Energy Center, we welcome you inside St. Paul's own home to the Minnesota Wild. Take a look at our Ream heating and cooling starting goaltending matchup. The Cat, Felix Potvin, the 10-year veteran in his second season with the Canucks, gets the start for Mark Crawford's team. Well,
when you talk to Mark Crawford, he said, we want 2 hot goaltenders. He let up a couple of soft goals against Detroit the other night, but Mark said, let's put him back in. He will get hot, and then we'll have them both playing well for us.
Speaking of hot, coming off his first shutout of the season 2 days ago, Manny Fernandez back in the net again today.
Well, you look at his record, 5 victories, 5 losses, right at 500. But look at his save percentage also. Now he's got it over 90%, and that's what he's looking to do, trying to increase that. But he has been a solid performer for this team.
Greg Kimmerly, Brad Meyer are our referees. Dan McCourt and Troy Sardizin will call the lines. Vancouver Canucks coming in with a very impressive record of 12-6-3-2. Mark Crawford, who won a Stanley Cup as the head coach of the Colorado Avalanche in '96 in his 3rd season behind the bench, and in his 1st season, of course, with the Minnesota Wild, the Hall of Famer Jacques Lemaire, his team on a 3-game unbeaten streak.
And interesting also, Mike, when you look at Mark Crawford, when he won the Stanley Cup in '96, they beat out Vancouver. That was the last time that Vancouver was in the playoffs. And so he's trying to bring them to a new level, and he seems to be doing a very adequate job with this hockey club.
Top line of Trent Klatt, Andrew Castles, and the top scorer for Vancouver. Their captain this year, Marcus Naslin, will start the game against Minnesota. Minnesota in the white uniforms with the green and red trim, and Vancouver in their road blues. On the side of the net of Manny Fernandez, puck squirted free, and we have a quick whistle and a stoppage. The Vancouver Canucks will test Manny Fernandez frequently today. As we talked about in the top of the show, they are right now the top scoring team in the National Hockey League.
Marcus Naslin, one of those guys, you saw him as you watched Scott Pellerin also talk to the officials out here, but Naslin, one of the guys that brings so much to this hockey club, not only off the ice, or on the ice, but off the ice as well. He's got the leadership quality, named captain this past year at their training camp over in Stockholm, and so we'll see what he can bring to this hockey team today, too, in the way of production.
So the face-off comes to the left side of Manny Fernandez, just underway here. Donald Brashear playing with the Sedin twins, and the reason why is courtesy of Kirk Maltby of the Detroit Red Wings, who bumped into the Sedins one too many times the other night at Joe Louis Arena for Mark Crawford's liking. So he's got the big bruiser, Donald Brashear, who has some offensive skills on this line with the talented draft picks number 2 and number 3 of 2 years ago. Laxinen has the puck in front towards Krivokrasov, and Bombardier will play it for the Wild. Sergei Krivokrasov, his 9th game played this season, scoreless on the year, believe it or not. Krivokrasov tries to get his stick back, and the puck is deep inside the Vancouver zone. Laxinen, Henrik Sedin wants it, and now Scott LaChance will play. Shot save made by Felix Potvin. Point blank range, Laxinen had a great chance. Shot again, and this time it's flipped aside by Felix Potvin. Jovanovski ahead to Brashear. And Brashear can't headman the puck to Daniel Sedin. Here is Brashear. He will gain the zone. 2 defensemen step in his lane, and Brendan Morrison will skate down the loose puck for the Canucks. Morrison looked to center, Todd Bertuzzi. And Brendan Morrison, part of this very talented line on the ice now. Trent Klatt on the wing. Brent Sopel keeps it in, and the puck is kicked aside by Fernandez. Morrison ties up Dowd. Klatt behind the net towards Bertuzzi. And Bertuzzi looking for it on the near side boards. Bertuzzi now, stick handling, looking to wrap around in front of the net. To the point it comes. Shot deflected in front and driven away by Bombardier. Bombardier crosses the line, sends it into the zone.
Wise play by Bombardier, wanted to get the red line, needed a line change out there and a defense change. And so he just dumped it into the corner, allowing his teammates to make that change.
Harold Druken just back up from the IHL's Kansas City Blades in the lineup today. He dumps it in. Sean O'Donnell picks it up for Minnesota. O'Donnell works it up the near side board. Scott Pellerin just missed the pass towards Maxim Sushinsky. Now it is Matt Cook and Druken trying to clear it out to center. Picked up by Cook, and an offside will be called.
Well, the offside call was called because Peter Schaefer was trying to get in behind the defense, got over the blue line, and as a result, the offside call is made. This is not a guy who's very big in stature, just 5'11", but 178 pounds. But I tell you, he's fiery, he's aggressive, one of those hard-nosed type of players that brings some strength and defensive play to this hockey team.
Get a good look at Peter Schaefer, number 72.
So he stick got a little bit bent out of shape there.
That's a European curve, Tom.
Like one of my posts on my deck at home. Water got on it.
Face-off win by Vancouver. Long shot sent in. Sean O'Donnell has it. Sean O'Donnell, number 27, brings it up. Good lead pass to Scott Pellerin. Pellerin and Nielsen on the ice with Walls, and a two-line pass is called. The one thing that has worked well for the Vancouver Canucks so far this year is they have had very good balance in their offensive attack. The Sedins have been good, but they're really third-line players right now for Mark Crawford.
Well, and that's what you want. You don't want just one line that's going to dominate all the time. You need those lines number 2, 3, and 4 to fulfill a role. You may not always score goals, but you need those checking lines to do their job, play against the big players. And Mark Crawford has been able to put those players together that seem to have the right chemistry.
Trent Klatt ahead off the stick of the captain, Marcus Naslund. Naslund tied for number 2 in the NHL in goal scoring this year with 14 goals. Theo Fleury of the New York Rangers has 16. That leads the NHL. The 14 goals for Marcus Naslund ties him for second with Bill Guerin of Edmonton and now Boston. Adrian Aucoin will skate down the loose puck. Aucoin, number 6 in his 7th season, all in a Vancouver uniform, gets it ahead to Brashear. And Laxonen breaks up the play in the neutral zone. Jim Dowd crosses the line around the outside. And Dowd holding on to the puck. Laxonen tied up by Aucoin and jammed into the board. Steve McKenna on the forecheck. Daniel Sedin, number 22. Henrik Sedin, number 33. And Tom, I know you know why. Drafted 2nd and 3rd overall 2 years ago. Shame we don't see Gabrick out here today against these talented. They are rookies too because they played in Sweden last year.
How fortunate for Vancouver, they get both brothers, one right after the other. They have the 2nd and 3rd choices, and it's been a tremendous find for this hockey club.
They had to work around for that. Aucoin, after Sedin is hit by Johnson, right in to help out is Brashear. Talked about Brashear being on this line. That is exactly why. Because the Sedins got abused by the Red Wings the other night, McCarty, Maltby, etc. And now right in to stick up for the youngster is Donald Brashear against Matt Johnson, a couple of heavyweights.
And remember, Brashear is a guy who was hit by Marty McSorley, went down and had the concussion, and he comes right back, and that's one of the reasons he's on this. But I'll tell you, Matt Johnson is one tough character also. These two guys are two heavyweights grabbing on here. You can see them holding, trying to come through with that right. Couple of pretty good shots by Brashear, but Johnson right back up on his skates again, and now they have broken it up, and I will guarantee you these two guys will meet again in the future.
Let me ask you this, Tom. You've been in the situation where you had talented players who other teams tried to take advantage of. If you're Henrik or Daniel Sedin, you're standing there watching Donald Brashear stick up for you. What goes through their mind in that situation?
Thank you very much.
That was simplified, wasn't it?
Thanks for being here. Well, Matt Johnson plays a very physical game, and you got to slow down your big players. Here's a hit, not a bad hit. I mean, it was his shoulders was down, their elbows were down. Watch it, and you'll see Brashear. He'll watch that thing. He knows what his role is. He's been told to do that, and right here, you see him come right in, sticking up, and he's not afraid to do that. And of course, Matt Johnson, when you have two heavyweights like this, they have their reputation, and they both go at each other. They grab onto each other. You don't want, a guy like Johnson getting into a fisticuffs with Sedin. That's not their role. But there are certain roles that each person plays on a team. This guy is one of the enforcers for the Wild and does a tremendous job. He's the enforcer, Brashear, for the Vancouver Canucks, and he knows how to play the game as well as play the physical part of it.
Well, he held out, signed a 2-year deal for $2.35 million U.S., and that is why he makes the big money. I say U.S. as he plays in Vancouver. He has also picked up an extra 2 minutes for instigating the fight. So the good hit, the clean hit by Matt Johnson, is going to be a resulted Wild power play here in the early going of this first period against Vancouver.
Well, and that's sometimes the price you pay when you're called upon by your coach to be the enforcer with two young players who are both rookies. All of a sudden, when you go in there to protect them, you will be called as the instigator.
Power play, 6 of its last 19 over the last 4 games. This is the only situation, no, you're not seeing double. You will not see these two young men in. They do not kill penalties for Mark Crawford's team. They play on the power play, second unit, and they play a regular shift quite often.
They didn't call him for instigating because I think that brings an automatic 10. They gave him an elbowing penalty. That's one way around it.
Thank you, partner. So the extra 2. And Bombardier and company have the power play here for Minnesota. Brad Bombardier from Powell River, British Columbia. Happy to play against the team he covered and watched every night as a kid, the Vancouver Canucks. Stacey Roos looking for Bombardier. Instead, he'll keep it himself. Roos with a couple of pretty assists in the victory 2 days ago against the Chicago Blackhawks. Sekrich gets it to Sushinsky. Sushinsky will leave it for Roos. And Roos will work. Bartos is in front of the net. Peter Bartos had the power play goal against Chicago on Friday afternoon. It's Sushinsky, it is Roos. It's back towards Bartos, and Peter Schaefer steps right in. Murray Barron, the longtime veteran, logging a lot of minutes last season, playing exceptionally well for the Vancouver Canucks again this year, clears the puck. So 1:10 remains in that extra 2 minutes. And that was an elbowing call against Donald Brashear. Good cross ice pass. Springs Jim down. Shot wide to the stick side of Potvin. Nice headman pass by Ladislav Benesic. And Benesic will get it back now. And Kriva Krasov and company will regroup. Brought up by Curtis Lesizhin. Taken by Dowd. Dowd to the near side boards. Too far. And Ed Jovanovski can't clear it out. Turned over. Here is Jim Dowd. Dowd will get it to Pellerin. Back to Dowd. Big mistake made by Jovanovski there. Let's see if the Wild can make the Canucks pay. Dowd to Kriva Krasov. Kriva Krasov, Pellerin. Pellerin will cycle with Sergei Kriva Krasov. Here is Dowd. Nifty little dish to Kriva Krasov. And he flips it back over to Scott Pellerin. Pellerin the shot. And it's deflected out of play off the left skate of Scott LaChance.
Well, Minnesota trying to move the puck around as best they can on this power play. Scott Pellerin, the captain here, trying to get that shot. There's a look at Ed Jovanovski. Very solid player for this team who's really stepped up. In the last 9 games, he had 26 shots himself. He's had 14 hits, 14 blocks, but he's been -6. And then Detroit made an errant play near the end of the game that cost them a goal. And but this guy has really stepped up. He's one of the big guns for this team. And Mark, we're very pleased with the progress that this youngster has made.
Now, Jovanovski came from Florida to Vancouver in the Pavel Bure deal last year. That deal also sent Brett Hedican from Vancouver to the Florida Panthers. Jovocop, as he has been called, the top pick overall in the NHL draft of 1994. He has to play big, has to play solid if the Vancouver Canucks are going to be successful.
And he plays a lot. Over 26 and a half minutes he has been playing in these games this year. So it tells you the type of pressure they put on him and how much they're calling upon him to be on the ice.
Almost miscommunication in front of the Vancouver net, but here comes Todd Bertuzzi ahead of the play. Bertuzzi wants it. Bombardier ties him up.
And so those long sticks come in handy.
And now Hoggood, the shot and a rebound in front. Bartos will collect. Todd Bertuzzi trying still to become one of the premier power forwards in the National Hockey League. Had a strong game a couple of nights ago in the victory over the St. Louis Blues with 2 goals and 2 assists. Bertuzzi circling near the neutral zone. And Andrew Castles brings it out. Turned over at center. Nielsen gets it over towards West Wall. As a delayed offside is going to be called. There'll be a whistle and a stoppage, and we are scoreless. 13-11 remains in the first period. Shot, save, rebound was cleared. 4th game in 6 nights, the end of a 5-game road trip for the Vancouver Canucks. They lost on Friday night in Detroit. 3-2 was the final in that game. Sergei Fedorov, the game winner, with under 30 seconds remaining in the contest. But Vancouver has been very solid so far this season, as they have missed the playoffs the last 4 years and are off to a dynamic start here in 2000-2001. Pellerin gains the zone after Walls gives it to him, loses it immediately, and gains it right back. Trent Klatt, Scott Pellerin battle. Loose puck picked up by Walls. Walls waiting near side of the net. Wes Walls will cycle it down towards Jeff Nielsen. Nielsen stops. He tries to get a shot away, and right there the long reach of Scott LaChance. Todd Bertuzzi will cross the line. Bertuzzi waiting, top of the circles, leaves it down towards the former Hobey Baker Award winner Brendan Morrison from Michigan. Trent Klatt, Brendan Morrison on the forward line, and now left and played. Murray Barron overskates Pellerin. Tic-tac-toe back to Jeff Nielsen. Nielsen faked the shot, tried to get Brian Helmer to commit. He didn't do so, and Brendan Morrison flips it right back down towards Manny Fernandez. No icing to be called. Up the near side boards comes Jim Dowd. Dowd gets it ahead towards the net of Felix Potvin. Sergei Krivokrasov in on the forecheck. Tangled up by Hoggood. Krivokrasov, top of the circles, and knocked down to the zone by Peter Schaefer.
Well, you can see Krivokrasov there wanted to get in position, to go to the forehand, but he was forced to the backhand, and finally, puck just knocked out of the zone.
Daniel Sedin, Henrik Sedin, and Peter Schaefer on the line here with Donald Brashear in the penalty box, serving 7 minutes of penalty time. Now the puck is played ahead by Jim Dowd. Dowd bounces it in low, and Potvin will play it on the backhand. Felix Potvin trying to return to his glory of the mid-90s when he starred in a Toronto Maple Leaf uniform. Potvin one game under 500 this year. The backup Bob Essenza is 6-1. Potvin a save on the long shot. Now the puck is played back to center. Here is Brad Bombardier. Bombardier sends it off the boards, past Hoggood. In comes Aaron Gavey. Gavey tied up by O'Oyne, and Steve McKenna has it. McKenna will fight for the puck in the far side corner. O'Oyne is there, and Hoggood will pick it up. Greg Hoggood, talented but undersized in his 11th NHL season. Leads it back towards the near side boards, and he was hammered by McKenna. Now it's Gavey, and Gavey can't get it in deep because Andrew Castles was there. Benisic picks it up. 6 total shots, Tom. We've played 9.5 minutes in the first period. Here is Gavey in the neutral zone. Not a lot of whistles here.
No, there certainly have not been a lot of whistles. The one thing I like about the Wild, the way they're playing right now, nice short passes, crisp, and for the most part, they've been tape to tape.
Well, you're going to get a chance this next week to see the Minnesota Wild test themselves against some of the premier teams in the Western Conference, and it starts right here today on Fox Sports Net MSC against this Vancouver team. In deep, looking in front, Schaefer, off the stick handle, Manny Fernandez, and how did he clear the rebound? What a save by Manny Fernandez. Peter Schaefer was right on the doorstep. The post and the stick handle, sometimes a goaltender's best friend. Drukin looking to get the pass across. Nice play, gloved down by Curtis Lecision. Lecision, a member of that 96 Avalanche Stanley Cup championship team, coached by Mark Crawford. On the bench here today for Vancouver, and on the ice for Minnesota, Curtis Lecision, the longtime veteran. Puck turned over, picked up by Roos. Roos stepping in, shot saved by Potvin. Rebound to the side of the net.
Roos had the right idea there. He's looking for that opening between the pads and almost had one, but Potvin was a little bit shaky on that play.
Brendan Morrison, Maxim Sushinsky. Sushinsky stick handling in traffic, and Brendan Morrison has it, tries to get it up to Naslund. Sekrish pinches in on the boards, and a nifty pass to Sushinsky. Sushinsky looking for it. Roos and Sushinsky are starting to get that uncanny ability of knowing where each other is on the ice 24/7.
I tell you, Mike, what I like to see right now is the way that the Wild are skating. They're really jumping into the plays. They're moving the puck. They're helping each other.
Walls, and this time Felix Potvin leaves, no rebound. Pressure applied by Minnesota. We are scoreless.
You want to be challenging right here. Watch Lecision on the blue line there, but watch Pellerin now has the puck. Not sure where to go with it. He tried to get it off the board, didn't get it high enough, and as a result, all of a sudden the pressure's put on. Watch this save here by Fernandez. Get some help there. The gloves, the sticks, whatever it takes to get the puck out of the area, that's what you're going to do. But almost a costly turnover, resulting in a goal for Vancouver. We're still scoreless. 5 shots by the Wild, 4 by Vancouver.
8:46 remains in the first period. Mike Goldberg, Tom Reed, Thanksgiving weekend. Hope you have enjoyed this feast of hockey we have had for you on MSC. A couple of good Gophers games, and of course the Wild winners on Friday. Let's see if they can complete the deal in a weekend sweep here today against Vancouver. Brashear back on the ice, Tom, so he's on with Henrik and Daniel Sedin. Daniel Sedin, number 22, with 7 goals and 15 points on the year. His brother Henrik, the better passer of the two, with 4 goals and 6 assists for 10 points total. Daniel is the more explosive of the two players, and Henrik is the playmaker. Laxtonen, the most consistent player in a Minnesota uniform the past 3.5 weeks. He punches in on Murray Barron, and Brashear will give Jim Dowd a push. Kriva Krasov, once the puck has it, shot, save made by Felix Potvin. Ready for an Olbermann fix? Sunday night just got a whole lot better as the Keith Olbermann Evening News airs tonight at 10 p.m. on Fox Sports Net. Each Sunday night, Keith provides his unique perspective on the world of sports, wrapping up the week's events and taking a look forward as to what's ahead. The Keith Olbermann Evening News tonight at 10 o'clock only on Fox Sports Net.
Well, we talk about Chance right here. Look at Laxtonen along the boards. You got to win those battles there. He's able to get the puck out the slide, but look at also Felix Potvin. Out just a little bit right at the edge of the crease, going down to make sure he's got the door barred from anything getting behind him.
Felix Potvin, the cat in the nets against Manny Fernandez here this afternoon. It is Wes Walz. Walz tries to work it. Shot by LaChance. Rebound. Save. Point blank range. Oh, my goodness. Minnesota's own Trent Klatt just robbed there by Fernandez. Now LaChance again will try to dump it in. Scott LaChance from Charlottesville, Virginia with a good shot on net. Now it's loose in front again, and Trent Klatt on the forecheck. Klatt had a power play goal Friday night against the Red Wings. O'Donnell pushes it to the near side, but not out of the zone. Jovanovski thrown and redirected again. Pretty move by Castles, and a good pad save by Manny Fernandez. Jovanovski ahead. And flipped into the zone by Andrew Castles, who leads his hockey team in assists with 16 on the season. Up ahead towards Peter Bartos. Bartos too far for Walz. He'll try to get it back in the neutral zone and does so. Now 1 against 2 for Peter Bartos. And Matt Cook in on the forecheck. Sushinsky, Cook in on him. And the puck is dumped into the Wild zone. Fernandez behind the net. Schaefer on the forecheck, Cook on the board. Cook had 5 goals all of last season, already has 6 this year for Vancouver. Cook is 24, looks to pick up the loose puck. Stacey Roost is there. Sutton battles with it with Peter Schaefer. 3rd round pick of the Canucks to 95 behind the net. The puck is played. And a good save made by Manny Fernandez as Cook was looking for goal number 7. And Sutton and Schaefer continue to have a discussion.
Well, Sutton with some pretty good size there. He and Schaefer coming together in the corner, knocked off his helmet, and then Schaefer coming right back at Sutton by the net area. But Vancouver doing a nice job of moving the puck very quickly in that offensive zone. And we talk about getting someone in position. Watch the puck here, coming off the boards. You want to get the shot to the target. Look at Manny, that tight end shot coming off of the stick there. And that's the one. That's the type of play you have to have. You have to have your goaltender who's going to be right there. But Castles, who had a very solid effort in that last shift, had a golden opportunity but could not put it away.
Now Manny Fernandez coming off his first shutout in a Wild uniform 2 days ago against the Chicago Blackhawks. 2nd shutout of his career, has been outstanding in the net the past few games that he has played. He gets himself so square, Tom, and not only is he making the saves, he is beginning to make the big saves, as he did on that shift for Vancouver a moment ago.
Well, so often, you can be on the ice as a defenseman or forward, and your mind may wander momentarily. As a goaltender, you have got to keep your focus on all the time what's happening. You can't let yourself be relaxed or look away from the play and what's happening, because very quickly that shot will be in the net.
Sushinsky, Roost, and Bartos, Benesic and Bombardier on the ice here. Brendan Morrison, number 7, native of the suburbs of Vancouver, and back in a Vancouver uniform. Now it is Roost. Roost tries to get it over towards Bartos. Down goes O'Coin, and the puck is put onto the stick of Andrew Castles. Castles to Hawgood. Hawgood had it taken away by Bombardier, but drives his way in deep and gets it over to Brendan Morrison. Now Bertuzzi behind the net. Todd Bertuzzi. Good hands, great power. Has the rare combination of power and goal-scoring ability. Number 44, Brent Morrison. Morrison leaves for Sedin. Sedin a shot, and the save made by Fernandez. That was Henrik Sedin. Sometimes you can't tell them apart.
Keith, can George W. do for the country what he did for the Texas Rangers?
What do you mean, sell it?
The Keith Olbermann Evening News, tonight at 10 on MSC.
Welcome back. Time now for today's Treasure Island Resort and Casino trivia question. What other NHL franchise started play along with the Canucks back in 1970? Give you the answer in a little bit. 1970, the first year of existence in the National Hockey League for the Vancouver Canucks. They had the old green uniforms in town, then they went to those psychedelic ones with the big V for a while. And now they've got the blue ones as we have a stoppage here. Yeah, I was just looking down the roster of this Vancouver team, and as I look at it right here, Adrian Aucoin, who wears number 6, he's a defenseman on this team, may be the only holdover from the team in 1994 that went to the Stanley Cup Finals and lost in overtime in Game 7 to Mark Messier and the New York Rangers. Of course, Pavel Bure was the big star of the team in that particular season. There you see Adrian Aucoin, the only holdover from that year.
Well, how quickly that can change. And you just, if things aren't going well, it's up to management's job to make changes to try and get the, obviously trying to get the players in the right place to win the Stanley Cup. Brashear and Johnson still going at it. And watch, bear key in on them because they may do something as soon as this puck gets dropped.
Oh, believe me, our producer has him. He wakes up and waits for things like this. Yeah, in fact, in that year, in '94, he was on the team, but he played with the Canadian Olympic team, so Aucoin really wasn't even a factor in '94. The last time that Vancouver went to the Stanley Cup Finals, they have gone twice in the franchise history. '82 was the other year. Gavey shot wide of the net to the stick side of Potvin. To the point. The puck, it clanks off the post, and the rebound is wide. And finally, Murray Barron sits on it. What a good shot by Sean O'Donnell. And it was redirected, clanked off the iron, and we remain scoreless. Stevie McKenna all over the Lutz puck.
Well, what was critical here also was getting the shot away quickly from that point position.
Just a quick snap of the wrist there, partner.
Yeah, and that's one thing that you watch the players in practice. They work on it, puck coming around the boards. Remember that all of the defensemen for the Wild are left-handed shots, so you've got to have the skill to be able to pull it off the boards, turn it around, and still get that shot away quickly.
Face-off win by Minnesota. And now it's Wes Wall. Stick broken off the shaft of Curtis Lecision, and Jovanovski has it. Jovanovski, Nielsen, here is Scott Lachance. Lachance will move it out of the zone for Vancouver to the captain, Marcus Naslund. Bossio High School zone, Trent Platt across towards Naslund. Naslund looking to spin, gets it in towards Trent Platt. And now behind the net, the centering pass is intercepted and brought out by Jeff Nielsen. Nielsen crosses the line, Jovanovski with a good bit of stick work, but turned over again, and almost the Wild make the Canucks pay. Couple of costly turnovers in this first period by Ed Jovanovski. Castles out to Klatt, Klatt to Naslund. Lachance will work his way up the wing. Naslund crosses, gets it to Klatt. Shot, loose puck in front. Lecision, a drive, and the net is off the pegs, and we have a whistle and a stoppage.
Well, Trent Klatt had that puck back about 40 feet out. He let that shot go, but fortunately for Minnesota, the net had already moved. You watch here, watch the play come in here. Nice quick release once again. You can see Manny Fernandez as he had to move across with Klatt coming in here. There's a shot coming in from the point. The net already off of its marsh magnets, and so as a result, the faceoff will come to the Wild's Fernandez's right.
Now you saw how dynamic that Castles and company can be on that last chance a moment ago with Naslund working with Trent Klatt. So now Drukin will take the faceoff. Harold Drukin wearing number 15 for the Vancouver Canucks. Last year as a rookie. Just played about 33 games, had 7 goals. The 21-year-old out of Newfoundland.
Interesting about him last year as a rookie, also led the team with a +14 last year.
I saw that.
Yeah, and this team is really, this team has really stepped up under Mark Crawford. They are just getting better and better each year. And their goal, obviously the first goal, get to the playoffs.
As they have missed him the last couple of seasons. Schaefer. And that is why we see a lot of guys 5, 6, 7, maybe 8 years in the league, but years with the Canucks, 2, 3, 1, 4. Not any longtime veterans because of the disappointment lately. O'Coin trips his man. Shot saved by Potvin. And power play number 2 for Minnesota.
Well, Szynski was hauled down on the trip, and so as you mentioned, it will be a power play opportunity going to the Minnesota Wild again. O'Coin heading to the box in his 7th year. Watch Szynski right here. Go for the puck. A little turn here, trying to keep him top of it. O'Coin tried to make the pass, a bad pass, and so all of a sudden you're scrambling. Oh, I can't let him go. Just takes out the skates. And look at also Szynski. Even though he's down the ice, he still had the presence of mind to get to the puck to flip it back into the zone.
So tripping the call at 16:34 on Adrian O'Coin. O'Coin limited to just 57 games last year with a broken finger in the penalty box here. In fact, he just returned from a groin injury that has limited him to 18 games played this season of the 23 that the Canucks have faced off against NHL opponents. Jim Dowd will take the face-off. Power play opportunity number 2, period number 1. Bombardier, shot, knocked down in front by Brent Sopel. Now it is Bombardier. Watch out, Schaefer goes down, and that will do the power play in. Peter Schaefer had a step, and bye-bye.
And Bombardier wasn't lucky. He just kept on going the opposite, and he knew right away. When you're back in that point position, you make a move to keep the puck in the zone. You make that, once you make that movement, you can't back up, and all of a sudden he could not get back in position. Watch here, right from the faceoff. Minnesota controlling the puck here momentarily. As it comes across a Bombardier, he takes the shot right there, the nice little block with the hand, and that's what you want to do. And Sopel just gets it up, and all of a sudden Bombardier a little bit slow in getting it to it, and all of a sudden you can see him trying to scramble a little bit. So that will even things up on the ice at 4 skaters aside.
Now Schaefer had the step. Bombardier was forced to take the penalty. Should mention that Vancouver has scored 5 shorthanded goals this season, and that ties them for best in the National Hockey League. Wild have allowed 5 shorties. Doesn't matter here, though. We've got 4-on-4 action. So you put Brendan Morrison, Todd Bertuzzi, Brian Helmer, Greg Hoggood out for Vancouver. Curtis Decision, Sean O'Donnell, Wes Walz, Andy Laxinen for Minnesota. Under 3 minutes remains in the first period. Puck is played at center by O'Donnell. O'Donnell gets it to Wes Walz, and Walz will circle in the neutral zone area. Backhand up ahead towards Decision, and Brendan Morrison looks for Bertuzzi. Morrison stick handling himself. Backhand shot saved by Fernandez. Morrison and O'Donnell. A little rodeo action on a Sunday afternoon.
Well, O'Donnell doing his job, and that's to keep everyone away from getting to his goaltender. At the same time, Brendan Morrison, as you mentioned before, the Hobey Baker winner, trying to get to any loose puck.
Single game tickets are still available for most Wild home games in a variety of ticket categories. Visit the XL Energy Center box office or call Ticketmaster at 651-989-5151. Another sellout here today. The consecutive string continues.
Well, as we talked about before, when you get a chance to go in on net, you try to do the most you can with it. Right here, the little backhand pass, and you can see Morrison cut to the center of the ice once again. When on the backhand, Fernandez able to make the save easily, at the same time getting good protection from his defense pairing.
I was wondering if we might see this combination 4-on-4, Tom, and we are. We're going to see Henrik and Daniel Sedin with Hoggood and Jovanovski. Pellerin, Dowd, Sekrish, and Venisic for Minnesota. 4-on-4 for another 1 minute and 13 seconds. The penalties only about 13 seconds apart, so really Vancouver and Minnesota are going to get in the statistics a power play opportunity, but both very short-lived. Venisic will bring it up towards Jim Dowd and taken by Daniel Sedin. Daniel and Henrik Sedin. Pellerin across the line, fakes the shot. And it is Jim Dowd, Venisic, and now Hoggood has it. Up comes Jovanovski. Jovanovski gains the line, stops and waits. Leaves it for Henrik Sedin. Shot to the wide side of the net. Daniel Sedin working on Sekrish. Now it is Henrik Sedin and Daniel Sedin. Venisic comes in, looks for the loose puck. The Sedin still trying to squirt it free. Sekrish is in to help out. Sedin twins in there. And Pellerin tries to get to the loose puck. Jovanovski can't get there first. Pellerin across the line. Jovanovski with the long reach takes him off the puck.
Well, when you're tall, you got that extra advantage. Just a long reach around allows him to get to that puck.
Naslin and Castle's on now in the forward line. Laxinen up ahead to Wes Walz. Walz stepping across and taken off his stick by Brent Sopel. Marcus Naslin Crosses the line. Drop pass read nicely by Walls. O'Coin is out of the box. But just 5 seconds left on the penalty against Bombardier. So we're back to 5-on-5 with 1 minute and 11 seconds remaining in the first period of play. Up the boards. Too far for Trent Klatt. And Curtis Lecision skates it over to Sean O'Donnell. Under a minute remains here in the first period of play. Scoreless, Vancouver and Minnesota on a Sunday afternoon. Castles looking for Klatt. Closed down by Stacey Roos. Now Scott Lachance has it. Lachance is passed too far, but on net, so Fernandez will leave for Lecision. 10 shots for the Canucks, 7 for the Minnesota Wild. Roos dumps it in, and he is bumped by Matt Cook. Felix Potvin out of the net, skated down by Peter Schaefer. Bartos closes down Schaefer. Both go down, play goes on. Bartos there to body Peter Schaefer one more time. Schaefer from Yellowgrass, Saskatchewan. And they continue to tumble, and this time the arm of our referee, Greg Kimmerly, is raised.
Well, it will be a holding call that will go once again against the Minnesota Wild. This is not one thing they want to do. Bombardier going to the penalty box, grabbing on Schaefer on the far wall. You watch right here as he loses his balance here momentarily. He's got to grab on. You notice how the arm underneath his, and he just kind of tucked it in. And as a result, pulls him down, and he will go to the penalty box. So Bombardier gets called the second penalty in a row in this hockey game to this youngster. 1938 the time of the penalty.
Now Brad's mom in this weekend from Powell River, British Columbia, in for the American Thanksgiving holiday.
Maybe he wants his name mentioned a lot of times on the PA system.
It's getting mentioned today. Coming up in our first intermission, we'll get caught up on the state of the Wild with the general manager, Doug Risebrough. Brian Burke, of course, the general manager now in Vancouver. Born in Providence, Rhode Island, but grew up here in Minnesota. O'Coin off the draw. Watch Adrian O'Coin if he gets a shot away. He has a cannon, a drive, a rebound. Morrison can't jump on it. What a big shot by Adrian O'Coin. And the puck is cleared out.
Nice play by shooting puck down the ice. So down, took a look around the board. Jovanovski was standing right there, and so put it right down the center.
Morrison will dump it into the zone, and the horn will sound. But when we start the second, Vancouver will have 1 minute and 38 seconds of power play time. That young man right there, Adrian O'Coin, 2 seasons ago, tied an NHL defensive record, Tom, with 18 power play goals. You see why.
Well, you absolutely can see why. He has got a cannon, and what he does is he keeps that shot nice and low. When you're a forward, you want to make sure those shots are low. If you're in there trying to get a deflection, but good period all the way around for both of these hockey clubs.
Hey, not a bad one for an early start on a Sunday. We're back in a moment. And it'll be played inside the Wild zone by O'Donnell. Cleared up, but not out. Bertuzzi had it, and O'Donnell gets rid of it this time. Power play goals, Marcus Naslund has 5. Daniel Sedin has 4. Trent Klatt has 3 to lead the Vancouver attack this year. There is Naslund, the leading scorer. And a whistle and a stoppage. Marcus Naslund, you talked about him earlier in the game, Tom. The players love him because he's got a great work ethic, and he is a soft-spoken Swede who was a star as a junior with Peter Forsberg. He had big shoes to fill in Mark Messier's, but yet has come in and done so, and you said on and off the ice.
Well, he really has. You know, it's interesting to know, too, that no one says they could tell the Sedins apart except for this young man. Of course, being from Sweden also, he will not give away his trade secrets, but he has brought a certain level to this hockey club. I mean, he has really upped their skill level, but you do that by not so much what you say, but what you do, and this team is just following, I think, in his example.
Works hard every day in practice. First to show up, last to leave. And O'Coin will move the puck up.
Well, I had it backwards.
Yeah. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. In fact, and you mentioned earlier that all the defensemen are left-handed on this Minnesota Wild team. Now I know why you're not on the roster.
No, I said they shoot. They shoot left-handed.
Well, yeah, it was hockey talk. You know, they're left-handed shooters, and that was you. So if you were right-handed, you'd be on the power play unit somewhere.
Yeah, it wouldn't be
in your backyard with Patty on the wing. Hoggood behind. Sedin and Sedin. Henrik to Daniels. Haven't seen too much out of them right now. Let's see what they do in the tight quarters with Trent Klatt on this power play unit. Down goes Daniel Sedin. Manny Fernandez trying to poke the puck away. Play goes right on. In front, shot. fanned upon by Klatt. O'Coin stepping up. Klatt wheels it off the shin pad of one, number 22. And there is Henrik.
Like a steel wall there, a glass wall or something. You can't get through to the netminder.
Henrik and Daniel. A two-man game, can we call it that? A twin billing. Here is Hawgood. Hawgood deflected by Trent Klatt. Sedin looks to get it past. Now it's Klatt. Sedin in close quarters. Henrik steps in. Or is it Daniel? This is like slap shot. Or is it Steve? Which one is it? The Jack. Still the Sedins have it.
Who's on first?
Daniel and Henrik. This is what they like to do. They like to cycle the puck. The Sedins have been very good at cycling. Trent Klatt played on this line in training camp. Hasn't played with him that much lately, but a good shift by Henrik and Daniel Sedin.
Well, Sedins are very good also. When they're close in, they can make those quick turns, and they are able to gain control or keep control of that puck. They like to throw you off your game a little bit, make the quick turn, and get the shot.
Harold Drukin, pass bounces over the stick to Peter Schaefer. Sekric. Now it's Matt Cook in front. Drukin couldn't get the shot away. It deflected off the stick of Benesic. Close quarters in front of Fernandez again. Vancouver looking and pressuring the Wild to begin this second period of play. Harold Drukin fires towards Fernandez. Rebound left in front and gloved by Manny Fernandez. Cycling, moving, circling, and many shots on the Wild net.
Well, the other part of that, you could almost throw a king-size blanket over top of everybody. It was so close into to Fernandez, and that's the quick, short passes, the quick releases. Manny Fernandez once again in behind there, trying to make something good here. You watch here as he's able to watch from both sides, and a goaltender has got to be able to figure out which way that puck is going to go so he doesn't get fooled on it. And he's got to have that little great, peripheral vision where he can see the puck coming from side to side and see those players too. And finally, he knows the team is scrambling a little bit. Hang on to it, get a face-off, and fresh players on the ice.
Now Fernandez strong 2 days ago against the Chicago Blackhawks, strong again today so far against the Vancouver Canucks. Face-off to come to the left side of Manny Fernandez. Jim Dowd loses the draw to Castles. Bombardier and Laxinen, Benesic, Dowd, Krivokrasov on this line. Dowd ahead towards Antti Laxinen. Laxinen with speed, wide angle shot. Potvin just sweeps at the backboards. Krivokrasov on the forecheck. Krivo looking for it. Murray Barron will bring it out of the zone. Vancouver, the top scoring team in the National Hockey League with 79 goals for. They have allowed 64, and here is Laxinen looking for his first of the night, and he scores! Antti Laxinen on his own, beating Felix Potvin. 1-0 Minnesota. Great individual effort by Antti Laxinen.
Well, that was a great individual effort, and it looked like he was going to go in behind the net. He's got the uncanny ability to make that quick turn. You watch here. You talk about a transition game. Poor passing right here results, and the puck coming the opposite way. Look at the speed of Laxinen. In behind the defenseman, just a little chop with the puck around the defenseman's skate, or stick, I should say. He couldn't handle it, and watch how he cuts it. Notice how he got the left leg out there to protect the puck and also to give him a better balance coming in. But that was just an all-out effort by Antti Laxinen, who scores his 4th goal of the season. His go-ahead goal here, the first goal of this hockey game, is a big lift for this team.
Especially considering that Vancouver had come out and dominated play here at the beginning of the second period. Bartos sends it in. Bertuzzi, and a collision with Bartos, and he is hurt. Going to be a high stick called against the Wild. Donald Brashear wheeling right around.
Now watch on the left side of the screen right here. Watch how you see the stick came up. It was certainly not intentional, but once the stick comes up, and Bartos gets the stick up just a little bit high as he's trying to go for that puck. Remember, the players must control their own stick. And when that does not happen, of course, penalties will be called.
Now Laxinen gets the goal with his 4th of the year. Brad Bombardier redeems himself after taking the 2 penalties in the first period. He gains the assist, the Paul River, British Columbia native.
Well, we're going to get a double minor
yeah,
penalty
bad
too.
news here, though.
Yeah, this is not what you're looking for. But Bartos will pick up the double minor penalty because of the high stick and the injury that was caused with it. So 4 minutes. The Wild will be shorthanded, coming at 3:34 of the period. Well, special teams win big games for teams, and you heard Mark Crawford talk before about special teams being different. Doesn't appear to be too serious. I hope he's not going to eat that thing.
There's Mark Crawford, Canadian Olympic coach a couple of years ago. Was out of the game for a little while after his Colorado experience, in which he won the Stanley Cup in '96 with the Avalanche, and now has done a tremendous job replacing Mike Keenan as the head coach of the Vancouver Canucks. Started out rough when he replaced Keenan late 2 seasons ago, but last year a major improvement in the standings despite the fact that the Canucks missed the playoffs. Pellerin trying to clear it out. So 4 minutes of power play time here for the Vancouver Canucks. In their power play this year, pretty good, tied for 8th in the National Hockey League. Henrik Sedin, Daniel Sedin, Peter Schaefer all looking for the loose puck. Dowd can't clear it out. Hallgood, Jovanovski at the point. Here is Henrik Sedin. Over to Daniel. Daniel behind the net. Shot towards Jovanovski. He missed his opportunity to beat Manny Fernandez. Pellerin and Dowd now shorthanded. Shot, save. And back in front. Loose puck bouncing away from Felix Potvin. Good play by Pellerin and Dowd to clear the zone.
Good play all the way around, as you mentioned. A good, you have to break out when you have a chance. You go for it, and you saw the shot too. Take the shot. Always something could happen when you do that.
Antti Laaksonen in his first goal in 6 games. His 4th of the year. It's an even strength goal. It's 1-0, but the Canucks with the power play here. Marcus Naslund leaves it for Bertuzzi. There is Antti Laaksonen. And Wall's able to clear it around Adrian Aucoin. Andrew Castles wants it. Near side, Bombardier. Bombardier backhand. He scores! A shorthanded goal for Minnesota. It is 2-0 Wild. Brad Bombardier. How about that?
What a great effort. You could see him moving up. We talk about defensemen moving up into the play as well. Did it deflect, though? That's what I'm not sure of. And Laaksonen was coming in there. I'm not sure if he got a piece of it or not. But the key, once again, as we said, get the shot to the net. Because if you do, something can happen. Watch here as Vancouver's not able to keep it in. And the quick release right here. You come forward. You're able to fight along the boards. First one to the puck wins. And watch here as Bombardier comes in. Right there coming in behind Felix Potvin. The puck is in the net. And the Wild scoring shorthanded to take a 2-goal lead.
3rd shorthanded goal of the season for the Minnesota Wild. And the native of British Columbia, Brad Bombardier, has factored in both of the Minnesota goals here in the 2nd period. Net off the pegs and a stoppage in play. Brad Bombardier, 2 penalties in the 1st period. You know he was angry with himself. Scores his 1st goal of the season. Nope, they're going to give it to Antti Laaksonen now.
Yeah, I thought
they're going to give it to Laaksonen, but nonetheless, what a great play.
Yeah, I thought it deflected off of somebody right in front there, and you saw Laaksonen. But look at the effort here, too. You've got to have a guy like Walls going in who's got great speed, gets the puck first. All of a sudden, watch where Laaksonen is coming in front of the net, and that's what you're looking for. If the goaltender can see the puck coming in, nobody touches it, he's got good direction and able to grab onto it. But what little movement, puck change movement, is all it takes. And Laaksonen gets a piece of it, puts it in. 2 goals in this game for this youngster.
Number 4 and number 5 on the season. Short-handed goal number 1 in a Wild uniform for Antti Laaksonen. Bombardier picks up his 2nd assist. Wes Walls gaining the 2nd assist on that 2nd goal. 2 goals, 1 minute and 23 seconds apart for Minnesota, and they have Vancouver down 2-0. Still, though, lots of power play time for the Canucks. Still 2:19 remaining on the double minor against Bartow. Shot by Castles, knocked down in front. Nicely by Curtis Leschyshyn. Marcus Naslund leaves it to Brendan Morrison. Bombardier in on Morrison. 2 Vancouver boys doing battle. Aucoin, a big drive. Dowd stands in the way. And Dowd almost was able to spring Scott Pellerin shorthanded. Mark Crawford has to be wondering who has the power play right now.
Well, I think he is, and that's frustrating from a player standpoint, too, when you're out there and you're trying to make some good things happen with your team, and you can't get anything going, and you give up one. Boy, that really takes some of the air out of the sails.
To the point, and Aucoin, his pass off the skate of Castles, and Sekrish to Nielsen. Here he comes down the line. Looking back was Nielsen for a return pass from Curtis Leschyshyn.
That's where he should have shot it again. That was Gaby coming down there.
Yeah, Aaron Gaby, 44, had a chance and was looking to make the pass back to Jeff Nielsen.
Of course, it's easy from up here after the play's made.
Naslund crosses the line. Leaves for Drukin, and his shot blocked in front. Defense doing a good job of keeping the puck from getting to Fernandez. Hoggo to drive. Deflected just wide of the glove hand of Fernandez. Jovanovski now. Jovanovski gets it to Naslund. Naslund top of the dots. Knocked down in front again of Manny Fernandez. So the Wild player sacrificing the body. Gaby trying to clear it out. Now stepping in, shot save, rebound, flipped aside by Fernandez. Wilder clearing everything out from the front of the net. Hoggood, Drukin to Hoggood. Shot, redirected just wide. Schaefer now. Schaefer wants it. 43 seconds left in the power play. There's a broken stick in front. Everybody has a stick in their hands, though. Sekrish wants the puck. Gets it up and out of the zone into the Wild bench. Jim Rome tells it like it is on the Nightline of Sport Talk shows, weeknights at 5:30 and 11:30 Central Time, right here on Fox Sports Net. The last word with Jim Rome. Check your local listings.
Well, nice play by Sekrish in behind the net. They were scrambling just a little bit. Minnesota making sure that getting that puck, they wanted to get the stoppage. He tried to get it all the way down the ice, but he was a little bit off balance and shot it into the bench area. And so that will result in the face-off, but also a chance for the Wild to get some freshness on the ice in front of goaltender Manny Fernandez, who has been spectacular in this game.
Face-off cleared out by Minnesota. Shots 10 for the Wild, 13 for the Vancouver Canucks. And they now have just 26 seconds left on this 4 minutes of power play time. The double minor against Peter Bartos. Decision behind the net. Daniel Sedin, Trent Klatt, Henrik Sedin. To the point towards O'Coin. He'll drive it back behind to Trent Klatt. Klatt checked by Decision. Daniel Sedin in to help out. Daniel Sedin spinning. These two players very good in tight corners. Much stronger than you would think for their age and their size. Klatt was on the doorstep, and another save by Fernandez. Up ahead out of the box is Bartos. And a two-line pass is called. Antti Laaksonen, the story here in period number 2. He has both goals. At our Treasure Island Resort Casino trivia question today: what other NHL franchise started play along with the Vancouver Canucks in the year 1970? Tom?
Place with all the snow.
Yes, indeed.
Buffalo, New York.
Buffalo Sabres went 24-39-15 in their first season. Dale Talon, the first ever draft pick of the Vancouver Canucks in 1970. Longtime member of the Blackhawks broadcast crew, now their director of player personnel.
Jocelyn Gerberman was number 2, I believe, that year.
For the Buffalo Sabres. Now we move the puck up to Nielsen. Nielsen, Pellerin, Walls. Walls steps into the zone. Driven off the puck nicely by Brent Sopel. Third season, all of those in a Vancouver uniform, wearing number 3. Here's Marcus Naslund. Naslund through center, crosses the line, leaves it, and an offside is called.
You notice that pass by Naslund was very slow. It was more like he had to pinpoint that pass instead of moving it quickly as we saw them doing in the first period. Now they're behind 2-0. Now they're trying to make the perfect pass. And when you make a pass that slow, that is going to result in an offside. You'll see us, he'll pick it up in the center ice here. Watch how slow it is. Not real fast, and all of a sudden you have to reach back for it. It's behind. You got to get those passes ahead to keep that puck going in that forward direction.
You know, Marcus Naslund really fell into Mike Keenan's dugouts very quickly when Keenan was the head coach of the Canucks, but he has played the best hockey of his career under Mark Crawford, who has opened things up a little bit, and that benefits a guy like Naslund, who has all those offensive skills.
Well, he certainly does. Of course, we talk about players, and most of the people who get the accolades in professional hockey are the ones who score the goals, but he brings more than that to this hockey team.
Top scorer last year was Marcus Naslund, on the bench now, but Johnson and Brashear are on the ice, so keep your eyes open for that matchup. Donald Brashear, Matt Cook drives into Aaron Gavey. We're going to have a penalty call. LaChance will skate down the puck. Potvin will touch him behind the play. Big Matt Johnson. Brashear's coming into it. But it's more of a tangle. Sutton is in there. Gavey is in there.
Well, it was Matt Cook going head-to-head with Matt Johnson initially. That brought everybody else into it, including all the defensemen. So this will be interesting. You see Sutton right now having his few words also. He's one of the heavyweights. We talk about big players on this team, and he is one of them, along with Matt Johnson and, of course, Steve McKenna.
Now, Matt Cook is a tough character. In fact, Matt Cook is the young man who ran into Chris Drury of the Colorado Avalanche and put him out for 6 weeks. In that game in which Vancouver defeated Colorado and kind of beat him up in the process, because Big Ed Jovanovski threw a haymaker in on Adam Deadmarsh that day also. Here's a look at the play and how it started, Tom. There's the hit.
There was an interference call going to be made at that point. There was a penalty coming. Here's a hit along the boards, too. And you watch his, there's the interference call.
Yep.
And just, you move right into it all of a sudden. And Brashear, he's going to just come here just in case there's somebody else here. With Sutton in that little altercation. Not too many punches thrown in that.
And he's not afraid to mix things
Nope.
up. Donald Brashear, 28 years old, last year had a career-high 11 goals on the season. You talked about how Brashear suffered that hit from Marty McSorley and ended up missing 20 games. You know, he led the NHL a couple of years ago with 372 penalty minutes. But, Tom, he is the type of enforcer, the type of player that you like having in the room, because away from it all, he's one of those nice guys who just has a tough job to do.
There's no question that when you've got players like that so often on the ice, the enforcers are really the nicest guys off the ice. When you go back to Dave Schultz, the Hammer, I mean, he was a great guy off the ice. On the ice, he was a very tough competitor.
Tim
wouldn't
Hunter.
Fight with anybody. Jeff Hodger's another guy.
Jeff
on the ice,
yep.
he's a guy that brings that element of physical play to it, and not afraid to mix it up and drop the gloves. But off the ice, just great individuals.
Yep. Stu Grimson, one of those guys who falls into that category. Mike Peluso. Now look at all this getting sorted out, and it's going to turn out to be a Vancouver power play, not a power play in which the Wild is going to have.
This is really weird.
I thought the initial call was going to be against Vancouver anyway, and it is. Cook has the interference, but then Sutton's in, and he may have gotten 2-2.
Well, we got to figure this out here a little bit. We'll get it ironed out.
Roughing and unsportsmanlike conduct is going to go against Andy Sutton.
Yeah, there's the interference,
right, and that was called. Cook's in the box. But I think they gave 2-2 to Andy Sutton, which is why there is a 2-minute power play for Vancouver, because Cook is in the box.
Oh, Sutton, he got unsportsmanlike conduct.
And roughing.
And roughing. Oh, he got a double minor. Okay.
So Brashear able to do his job that time in drawing the penalty. So Cook is in for the interference, but the Canucks have the power play, and it is their fifth power play of the game. 0 for 2 today on the power play. One shot. In fact, they're -1 on the power play because of the shorthanded goal by Antti Laaksonen. Jovanovski steps across. Sedin gets it to Castle. Hit at the blue line was Jovanovski and cleared out by Dahl. Potvin will leave for Andrew Castles. 2-0 our score. Antti Laaksonen with both goals for Minnesota. Castles brings it up. Laaksonen was there. Flipped into the zone. Naslund back towards Castles. Henrik Sedin is on the ice, as is Daniel Sedin. So Castles is playing at one of the points here. A forward playing at the blue line with the man advantage. Laaksonen picks up the loose puck. Walls is hustling into the play. Laaksonen gets it. 2-wall shot. He scores! Another shorthanded goal. Antti Laaksonen beating West Walls. 3-0 Minnesota.
I tell you, what a pretty play by Laaksonen. Mike, how many times I've said this year how well he skates and how he controls that puck. And he took that little look over his shoulder. He knew where Walls was. Now, we didn't hear it here, but I can assure you that Walls is hollering, behind you, and you know that person's voice. Walls was a guy who battled on the boards, got it, and he followed right up in the play. He didn't stand there and watch. He comes right up, and look at that nice little play. Right between the legs of Jovanovski, who didn't know where to go here. Watch it as it comes in behind the back, right in the middle, where the slot area is most dangerous. Potvin can't control it. It's in the net. 3-0 lead with 2 shorthanded goals coming at 9:27.
West Walls' 6th of the season, 2nd shorthanded goal of the year. The Wild with 2 shorthanded goals against Vancouver, and they lead 3-0. Laaksonen with his 3rd point of this 2nd period of play. Bertuzzi flips it in front. Down he goes. The net is off the pegs, and we have a stoppage. But what a great effort by West Walls to start things there, Tom, and Antti Laaksonen to help to finish this.
Well, the little shiner must be paying big dividends for this youngster, because you'll watch along the boards here. And all of a sudden, you're going to watch right. Here's Walls right in this area here. As he watched where that puck in, all of a sudden, And all of a sudden he comes in and he'll play the puck right here. And this is just a second effort. Now he doesn't just stop there. He keeps on going. And he puts a stick down. Watch where his stick is in. Nice and close to the ice. The puck comes one time and bing, it's in the net. And the Wild feeling very comfortable right now, but they cannot let up against this Vancouver Canucks hockey team.
Well, the Canucks, as I mentioned earlier, came in tied for first in the NHL with 5 shorthanded goals scored. They had only allowed 4 shorthanded goals. Make that now 6 thanks to Walls and Laxinen here in the second period. Off the draw, Vancouver controls. Hawgood flips it over towards Harold Druken. Druken fakes the shot to Bertuzzi. Klatt is in front of the net. Bertuzzi powering in. Pad save
What a
made.
save.
Hawgood the shot knocked down in front by Pellerin. Fernandez another strong save.
Well, you know, and what great support he's getting from his cast of characters out here, too. You saw Pellerin go down. The first save was made. Pellerin put it in his body, sacrificing his body to get in front of that second shot.
And cleared one more time. 20 seconds left on the penalty to Andy Sutton. So Jacques Lemaire disagreed with the fact that his team ended up shorthanded in that last melee, but it works out for Vancouver. Nope, it works out for Minnesota.
Well,
because the goal was scored shorthanded.
Well, frustration now setting in a little part on Vancouver. They're trying to get something going here. Mark Crawford not looking down the bench saying, who am I going to put out here next? I've got to get something to get this team jump-started. Manny Fernandez has had a very strong game, no question. You watch his position, trying to almost like a rooster there, sticking his neck a little bit, trying to see where that puck is coming from, but getting support as we saw Pellerin once again coming through. But he's had a very solid game, but the help you get from your forwards and defensemen pays big dividends.
Now blocked shots and also every rebound has been cleared out, has been cleared into the corner by the Wild defense or by Manny Fernandez himself. And after an icing with the man advantage, the face-off comes to the glove side, the left side of Felix Potvin. Controlled by Vancouver's Peter Schaefer, but only 5 seconds remains on this Canucks power play. Canucks will bring it out. Jovanovski throws it to the side of Fernandez. He flips it over. Schaefer's there. And looking for the puck is Sean O'Donnell. O'Donnell flips it on the backhand and out of play, and we will step aside. What a first 10+ minutes this second period has produced for you Minnesota fans. 3-0 Wild.
High School Bud Light.
4,
Get your Bud Light.
3,
Bud Light.
2, 1, fire!
For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down. Make it a Bud Light.
Now the XL Energy Center, the place to be in the upper Midwest. Single game tickets are still available for most Wild home games in a variety of ticket categories. Visit the XL Energy Center box office or call Ticketmaster 651-989-5151. Face-off win by Vancouver. Puck deflected to the side of Fernandez. Adrian Aucoin looks to get it in front towards Matt Cook. Hawgood on Bartos. And we are back at even strength. Brett Sopel. Sushinsky. And Bartos is there. Antti Laxinen in the story. 2 goals and an assist here in the second period. Sekrish moves it ahead to Bartos. Bartos with speed. Dragged down. Play will go right on. And Roost on the follow. Sopel ties up Bartos. Cook is in. Aucoin is there. And the whistle will sound. We will have a stoppage in play.
Well, Bartos was coming down on that left wing position. I'm not sure if he just fell on his own or whether he was tripped on that play, but neither referee made any indication that there was going to be a penalty. It's a Bartos who's having trouble keeping that mouth guard in. All of a sudden, his ball down. Watch right here. Let's see where the sticks are. Right here. Little hook right here. Yeah. A little tug. I don't know if it's or the penalty. Mike Ramsey, the assistant coach, had a couple words to the official, but not going to work. No penalty.
Those words were not happy Thanksgiving, were they?
Shots on net right now by Vancouver, 14. The Wild with 11.
And Vancouver 0 for 5 with the man advantage. Do keep one thing in mind. Vancouver playing their 5th game of a 5-game road trip. Have been away from the Pacific Northwest for about the last 10 days. Sedin can't clear. Krivokrasov. Long wind up, and Daniel Sedin stepped in. Daniel 22, 33 Henrik. I'm just doing that to hear myself say it, to keep it straight.
What's tough also in those situations when you're playing that many games is you're going, from the West Coast, they go to the East Coast, back to the Central Time Zone, back to the East Coast, now back here again. And so it really does mess up your system a little bit.
Speaking of messing up, Sergei Krivokrasov messed up Sedin, dragged him down, and a power play. It'll be power play number 6 for Vancouver. Tripping against Krivokrasov will be called.
Well, they've done very well killing off the penalties thus far.
Yeah.
Krivokrasov heads to the penalty box. They've had 5 power plays. You watch it once again right here. You see as that was kind of a weak call, but nonetheless, Krivokrasov coming in. Watch where his stick is. Tries to get his body, but you notice his right leg. You can see that again. You see that right leg come in behind just a little bit. Jacques Lemaire not happy with the call, but that coming at 11 minutes and 50 seconds of the period. Vancouver has had 3 shots on the power play, and of course they've given up 2 shorthanded goals. So they should ask for more penalties.
Time to decline. Mark Crawford, an obvious look of concern. His hockey team trails 3-0. They're 3 games over 500 on the road this year and 6 games over 500 on the season. 4th game in 6 nights for the Canucks. Krivokrasov for tripping. 8:08 remains here in the second period of play. Cleared right out. You talked about the travel on this trip for Vancouver. They opened with a 6-1 win at Columbus, then defeated the St. Louis Blues 4-3 on November 21st. Next night, lost in overtime to the Washington Capitals in the nation's capital, and then lost 2 nights ago against Detroit on a late goal by Sergei Fedorov, and now they are here today against the Minnesota Wild. So a busy trip for the Vancouver Canucks. Second longest trip of the year for Vancouver. The next time we see them in Marchtown, they'll be coming off a 9-game road trip. And Minnesota, the beneficiary of the schedule makers, catches Vancouver at the end of that trip. Jovanovski, a coin, a blast, a save, and no rebound left by Manny Fernandez.
None whatsoever. And standing on the doorstep was Bertuzzi, looking for that puck to come loose from Fernandez, but he had it pretty well locked in. And just taking his time as he gets back up on the ice in that standing position. Watch the play right here. Minnesota battling on the boards. They don't get it. Goes back to the point. And you want to make sure that when you're taking the shot, you have the open man shooting. But you can see also Fernandez able to see it, as that shot is just unleashed from the point once again from McCoy, who's able to get that puck right on the target.
So Fernandez holding strong with 7:24 remaining. 15 saves in the game for Manny Fernandez. 500 this year, 5-5-1 with a 2.29 goals against average. Andrew Castles, and Dowd wins the draw. Sopel moved up on the faceoff. Dowd read it perfectly, deflects it right in to the Vancouver zone. So 105 on the penalty against Sergei Krivokrasov. Hawgood will bring the puck out of the zone. Steps across the line, looks to backhand it towards Castles, and Dowd not able to clear. Hawgood keeps it in the zone. Bertuzzi ties up Bombardier. Benesic wants it. Naslin there too. Pellerin in to help out. Benesic overskates. Now it's Bertuzzi. Benesic pushes it towards Bombardier. Bombardier trying to be strong on the stick, able to clear with a little help from Jim Dowd. Marcus Naslin up ahead to Bertuzzi. Castle and Walls. And Wes Walls comes away with it. Walls, Naslin on the forecheck. Bertuzzi in to help out. Hawgood steps in from the blue line position and takes the puck for a moment. Now Antti Laaksonen fires it down the length of the ice. Antti Laaksonen, 2 goals here today. Second career 2-goal game. His last one coming against Pittsburgh last April when he was with the Boston Bruins. Lecision, Nielsen, Henrik Sedin, Schaefer, shot, score. Power play goal, Daniel Sedin, and the Canucks have broken the shutout attempt of Manny Fernandez.
Well, this will certainly give them a lot more life right now. Daniel Sedin just off to the left of goaltender Manny Fernandez, and you'll watch how quickly he is able to take that stick and make that shot work for him. You watch here as he comes in from to the left of the goaltender, but his stick is down on the ice, and all of a sudden, as the shot is taken by Schaefer to begin with, Sedin's in the right place, and Daniel Sedin makes no mistake about it. You can see it coming up from the boards there. There's a shot just off, and not much room to put it in, but it's away, and they have closed the gap by 2.
So Daniel Sedin, his 5th power play goal of the season, his 8th goal overall here in his rookie campaign, the 2nd overall pick in '99. And the Canucks have pulled to within 2. 3-1 is our score. It took them 6 power plays to do so, but they strike against the Minnesota penalty killing unit here. Jobanovsky will work it out for the Canucks. Big key here, Tom, is to hold solid this last 5.5 minutes. Go into the locker room with that 2-goal lead, not let Vancouver get right back into it.
Well, you're absolutely right. And the thing that Jacques Lemaire has to tell the players, and of course the players themselves, is don't let that goal disrupt us. We still have a lead here, guys, so let's continue to do the things we're doing, but let's stay out of the penalty box.
Sushinsky steps across the line. Stick handling in front. Around Jobanovsky. Shot. Save made by Potvin. Jobanovsky was caught flat-footed, and Maxim Sushinsky danced around him. Brashear steps into the zone. O'Donnell trying to force him off the puck. Donald Brashear strong with the stick work. Leaves it now for Trent Platt, looking in front. Cancels point-blank range, and a great save made by Manny Fernandez.
Well, Brashear with that size, moving right in on top of him, but not able to take that loose puck.
Huge save there by Manny Fernandez.
The puck out in front to Castles. Castles comes right in, across, takes the shot. Look at Brashear coming in here, just slapping a stick towards the netminder. No biscuit for him to grab onto. Manny Fernandez had good control of that one.
Former top pick of the Montreal Canadiens, number 25, Andrew Castles. Trent Platt, Brooklyn Park native, will be our guest in the 2nd intermission. His team trails 3-1. 17 shots for the Canucks, 12 for the Minnesota Wild. There's Trent Platt, nice enough to join us on the pregame show, talking about his days on the ponds on the 10,000 lakes of the great state of hockey. In front of the net again, Harold Druken was right on the doorstep, and Fernandez makes the save. Maxim Sushinsky draws it into the zone. Sushinsky shot, and Potvin leaves no rebound. Gavey was crashing in. O'Coin was right there, though. Tom, take a look at our Northland Ford game summary. Antti Laaksonen, the 2nd career 2-goal game for him as an NHL player. 2 goals and an assist, in fact. Powell River, British Columbia native Brad Bombardier with 2 helpers. The Wild with 2 shorthanded goals in a single game for the first time in franchise history. And during this unbeaten streak, they have outscored their opponents 12-3. A 3-game unbeaten streak, as Laaksonen and company hoping to extend it to 4 here on a Sunday afternoon.
Well, Mark Crawford said before, special teams will be a difference in a game like this, and we've seen that already. 3 of the 4 goals, 2 of them shorthanded, 1 on the power play. That only power play by the Vancouver Canucks.
Yeah, he was all over that prediction.
Yep.
I bet he did not think, though, that this expansion team would score 2 shorthanded goals against his team, though. That's not what he was talking about. Barron a drive. Rebound. Gavey right there. And flip back out to center. Sushinsky steps around Murray Barron. He's driven down, and a penalty is going to go against the longtime veteran. Power play opportunity number 3 for Minnesota.
Well, Sushinsky goes down, and when you've got a penalty, you want to look the other way. You hope the referee does not see you. But that is not the case. So Vancouver will be shorthanded now, as the penalty is called against Todd Bertuzzi. You can see it right there, right in the neutral zone, and the referee very quick to make the call. Having 2 referees gives them that extra set of eyes for the things that happen behind the play so often. 15-29. They're going to call it an elbowing call.
Bertuzzi, major breakout season last year, Tom, with 25 goals and 50 points. Rare combination of size and finesse, and he's a guy that Mike Keenan loves. In fact, there's already been rumbles. Keenan is the one who brought him to Vancouver from New York. The Islanders in the Trevor Linden deal. There's talk that Keenan would like to get him in Boston now. And that'll be a discussion he'll have to have with Mike O'Connell and with Brian Burke, not you and I. Sekera up ahead to Dowd. Bombardier wants it. Power play opportunity for the Minnesota Wild. Jobanovsky is in. Working behind the net. 3 white jerseys, 2 blue. Pellerin trying to work the puck on LeChance. Now Dowd strong on the stick. Kriva Krasov gains control. Kriva Krasov to Pellerin on the boards. 2 defensemen still in deep for Vancouver. And Dowd gets it to Bombardier. Quick shot deflected out of play.
Well, Minnesota trying to get in a position, and the bad thing there was the puck was on the board, so their back is to the net. And the Wild have all 3 guys going into the corner there. And, of course, if they get the puck, where are they going to go with it? And so they need to break someone out of there. You want to get possession, but you watch right here as they all come in behind. And watch right here. You got 1, you got 2, you got 3. If they get it, where are they going to go with it? And all of a sudden, you can see here as they're trying to battle with it. You see the defense moving in just a little bit to help out in case the puck does squirt loose.
Stacey Roos, and Murray Barron has it. Peter Bartos keeps it in the zone. Sushinsky, Bartos, Stacey Roos, Sekrish, and Bombardier. And sent towards the near side, and Lubomir Sekrish can't skate it down. Matt Cook in pursuit. Cook in on Fernandez. Wants to lose puck. Bombardier will gather it for Minnesota. Cook comes back away with it. Matt Cook with 2 shorthanded goals on the season. Bartos leads for Roos to cross the line. Shot! Knocked down in front by Murray Barron. Sekrish. Bartos. Roos. Looking, leaving for Sushinsky, back to the point. Sekrish, a drive, and it's knocked down in front, went off the leg of Murray Barron, and he went down quickly. He is hurt.
He is still down.
And the whistle will sound. Murray Barron, the 33-year-old, 12-year veteran from Prince George, British Columbia, may have caught that on the side of the leg.
I can tell you from experience, those are extremely painful. In those situations, all you want the trainer to do is just come out there, but don't even talk to me. Let me get my composure here a little bit until that stinging goes away. But Sekrish, as we talked about, he has got a cannon for a shot. You see the puck coming back from Sushinsky, back to Sekrish. And look here, he was just trying to make that little bit of a turn. He's got to look behind him. Now he knows someone's behind him. Watch here as he turns on the inside of the leg, right in the knee there. There's a little padding there, but not much. And I can assure you that will be stinging long after this game is over. On their airplane ride back after this game, there will be an ice bag, another one that will be in that area, trying to keep that swelling down.
Last year, Murray Barron, Tom, tied for the NHL lead with 185 blocked shots.
Well, there's another one.
He blocked a ton of them in his career. That one, not the way he wanted, though.
I was going to say, he doesn't want 185 more like that one.
You got that right. He's going to be all right, we hope.
Yeah, he's a tremendous competitor.
Oh, you want to talk about playing a great role in Vancouver, too. It's almost revived his career.
Yeah. Watch here. Watch on the inside. He's going to move it right there on the inside of that left leg of his. Made the save. Remember one time going down in front of the net when Gary Smith played for us and blocked the shot with my face. Unfortunately, broke my jaw in a couple of places, the cheekbone, the orbital bone, and we tied the game 3-3. By that time, I was at the hospital. And Gary Smith called me the next day and said, you know, if you would have made just one more save, we would have won this game. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And I won't say so that's what happened. I just did say so. Barron walking into the locker room. Hopefully he'll be able to walk that off.
Absolutely. And of course, you don't want to take any of the equipment off. You put ice on even from the outside if necessary.
Way up in the province of British Columbia, Prince George, British Columbia. He's a tough character from up there. Shot in to the side of Felix Potvin. Still 25 seconds left in the man advantage here. The penalty against Todd Bertuzzi for elbowing. Pellerin, Jovanovski on him. Dowd is in. Driven away from the puck by Scott LaChance. Andrew Castles through the neutral zone. Leaves it ahead as Brian Helmer tries to chase the loose puck. Benesic and Sekrish come away with it. Ladislav Benesic moves it ahead to the captain, Scott Pellerin. Pellerin to Dowd. Dowd to Kriva Krasov. Kriva Krasov waits, bottom. Onto the ice, Bombardier. Bombardier flips it high to the backside of the net. Pellerin picks up the loose puck. Scott Pellerin has it near side boards, bouncing puck. Brendan Morrison, the former Hobey Baker Award winner, leads it for O'Coin, and both teams back at full strength now. Sekrish behind the net to Bombardier. 2:09 remains. Wes Walls and Bertuzzi has it. Todd Bertuzzi with Walls on it. Leaves it for the captain, Marcus Naslund, to the point in Hoggood. Hoggood behind the net. Bertuzzi, Morrison, Bombardier. Walls is in deep to help out. Bertuzzi strong inside the wild zone. Too strong, though, was the pass to Brendan Morrison, and Nielsen clears it to center. Marcus Naslund stops and skips the puck back towards Brad Bombardier. Right there out of the bench is Schaefer. Schaefer has a man to drop it to. Looks to wrap it around instead. And the Pegs once again have the net removed from them, and we will have a stoppage. Don't forget, this week the Wild take to the road for 3 games, and Thursday night they'll invade America West Arena to battle Jeremy Roenick, Keith Tkachuk, and the Phoenix Coyotes. Coverage begins with the pregame report at 7:30 Central Time. Don't miss this Western Conference matchup from Phoenix. Fox Sports Net coverage of the Minnesota Wild continuing on MSC. Channel 9 game against the San Jose Sharks on Tuesday night, and then Los Angeles. And let us, as a Wild broadcast team, as a Wild organization, send out our best wishes and prayers to the San Jose Sharks radio play-by-play announcer Dan Ruzanowski, who was involved in a car accident within the last 24 hours. Now, John Shorthouse, the play-by-play announcer on radio for the Vancouver Canucks, told me that Danny's doing well. He is in stable condition. Danny is one of the finest broadcasters in the league, a friend of all of ours. And Danny, our prayers to you and your family for a quick and speedy recovery. And Tommy, when we're out on the West Coast, we'll make sure to look up Dan and his family and send a good well wish.
Absolutely. It's a small family.
You got that right. Now, we're broadcasters are a fraternity just like the players. And Danny's one of the good guys. I was shocked when I heard that this morning when John Shorthouse told me. Stacey Roos through the neutral zone. Aaron Davies on the play. Up ahead to Sushinsky. Just missed as Daniel Sedin was on the back check on Sushinsky. Now Roost has it behind the net. Stacey Roos with under a minute left in the period. Gets it to O'Donnell. A drive, a save, a rebound. And it's cleared up to Henrik Sedin. Henrik Sedin will dump it into the Wild zone. They'll peel off and change again. Well, the Wild 40 seconds away from doing what we said with 5.5 minutes remaining in the period, holding on to this 2-goal advantage. Schaefer gets it across, though. Here is Cook's shot. He missed the net. Had lots of time. Had him flat-footed, had him beaten, and missed the net. I will not say that again. Now I know why Jacques Lemaire will not talk about success on the power play. The Scotty Bowman thing, superstition.
The moment you start to talk about it, falls apart.
You got that right. Bombardier behind. Popped in without a stick. 8 seconds on the clock. But the Canucks control. Bombardier has it. And the horn will sound. Laxton in with 2 goals and an assist. But how about that second period put in by Brad Bombardier of the Minnesota Wild? Bombardier with 2 assists. Ironically, on the weekend in which he and his wife and family celebrated his son's 2nd birthday. What a birthday present for the little man. As Bombardier and the Wild lead 3-1 after 2. Trent Platt coming up next.
Going to do, as I talked about before, these guys think so much alike in everything they do, even off of the ice, that a lot of their interests and so on are the same.
Well, my favorite show is Friends too.
Well, you've got lots of them.
Trent Platt will start this 3rd period on the top line for the Vancouver Canucks. Shot, score!
Oh, boy.
A bad turnover by Sean O'Donnell. And 7 seconds into the 3rd period, we have a 3-2 game.
Well, how quickly it changes. Trent Platt was going to be our guest after that 2nd period. But I think Mark Crawford had other plans. Guys, get in the locker room. I got some things to say to you. Obviously, it has paid off because 7 seconds into this 3rd period, they give it up here. Watch right here. The puck is just pushed off. Poor communication between the goaltender and also by Sean O'Donnell. Not quite sure who's going to take it here, but all of a sudden, how quickly it can change. That goal coming in at 7 seconds unassisted.
Now, what a tough break for the Minnesota Wild here to begin the 3rd period of play, and now we have ourselves a 1-goal hockey game as Trent Platt scores his 2nd goal in as many games, his 5th of the season. O'Coin brings it in, and an offside is called. We do not see miscommunication very often amongst the defensemen and the goaltender of this Wild team. We did there, and Klatch just jumped in and buried it.
It appeared that puck, when it came to him, was kind of rolling a little bit, so he couldn't quite handle it. And he gave too much of a rebound. That's not what he wanted, and that's not what Sean O'Donnell thought was going to happen. He thought he'd just get it and be able to bring it back to him, but it started to roll on him. He couldn't control it, and he couldn't go any further because he knew that Klatt was coming in there, and he may not make it in time. And so he just tried to cover the door, but unfortunately opened up just a little bit.
Now that is exactly, you called it perfectly, Tom. That bounced off Manny's stick a little more. Manny's so good with this stick, sometimes the defense assumes it'll be put in the corner. Sean went back into position to start the breakout, and Trent Platt jumped on the loose puck. Now Matt Cook's pass intercepted by Maxim Sushinsky. So unassisted, 7 seconds into the third period, we have ourselves a 1-goal game. Harold Drukin, Peter Schaefer, Matt Cook. On the forward line here, Brent Sopel is on 1 point for Vancouver along with Big Ed Jovanovski. Loose puck in front, and Bartos and company will break it out. Bartos, Sushinsky, Sutton is off. While they're going to make a line change as Bartos puts the puck into the Vancouver zone for a moment. Bombardier retreats. Brad Bombardier with 2 assists on the afternoon. Bombardier will bring it out of the zone. Vancouver waits for him. Jovanovski, and Bombardier gets it right back. Brad Bombardier backhands it in. Jovanovski will skate it down. Ed Jovanovski, 24-year-old out of Windsor, Ontario, leaves it for Ottawa native Adrian Aucoin, hit by Dowd. Dowd leaves it now for Kriva-Krasov. Benisic strong at the blue line to Antti Laaksonen. Morrison, Kriva-Krasov walking in, shot, pet save made. Potvin robs Kriva-Krasov. Now it's Bombardier, a drive, and it's higher than net. Good scoring opportunity there for Sergei Kriva-Krasov, still in search of his first point of the season. Laaksonen goes down hard, and play goes right on. Ladislav Benisic, best save of the night right there by Felix Potvin.
Absolutely. Kriva-Krasov with that short stick, too. Got some pretty good lumber on it, but just couldn't find the opening.
Out of the zone comes Benisic. Too strong for Steve McKenna. Icing if LaChance gets there first. He does, and the whistle sounds.
Well, as we talked about before, when you give up a goal like that, the last thing you do is just sit back. And the Wild coming back here, having a good chance with Kriva-Krasov in that slot area. Keeping the puck in the zone is critical here. And that's what the defensemen do. Watch here as Kriva-Krasov comes in. Went to his left there just a little bit. All of a sudden, there was not a big opening for him to shoot at. Got the shot away, but Potvin also has, I think, stepped up his game since giving up those first 3 goals of the contest.
Now, he is going to have to be good if this team is going to achieve what it wants to achieve. Trying to return, as I said earlier, to the glory days in the mid-90s when he wore the Maple Leaf sweater. But Bob Esada is the backup, outstanding this year. 6-1 in 7 games played. Again, 12-6-3-2. The Canucks coming into today's contest. Henrik Sedin keeps it in the zone. Sean O'Donnell gets it up ahead. O'Donnell to McKenna. McKenna flips it up past Bartos. And Potvin out of the net. Potvin. Bartos right on Scott LaChance. And Henrik Sedin makes sure he clears the zone with it. O'Donnell. And now LaChance over to Greg Hawgood. Hawgood gains the zone. Circles, fakes the shot. Gives it to Schaefer. Loose in front. Swept aside by Fernandez. Schaefer. Over the stick of Henrik Sedin. Daniel has it. Daniel to his twin brother Henrik. Henrik back towards Daniel Sedin. He is dragged down. The play will go on as Walls flips it over to Jeff Nielsen. Henrik Sedin trying to apply some pressure. Flips the loose puck up towards Schaefer, but Walls a nice job done on the back check, and the Wild regain control. Neutral zone area, Andrew Castles, top line coming on the ice, turned over to Nielsen. And Jovanovski skates it down. Jovanovski stops. Pellerin overskates. Good lead pass to Castles. Naslund is the trailer. Clapp wants it. Shot from the bad angle. Wide to the stick side behind the net of Manny Fernandez. Pellerin now controls. Flips it over across. Bombardier steps into the zone. Bombardier backhand. Save. Rebound. And cleared back to center. Potvin is a good goaltender, but he will leave rebounds. And he has today. Up ahead, Jim Dowd. He has Kriva-Krasov. Shot deflected by Jovanovski. Lecision hits it deep into the zone. Dowd in on Jovanovski. Gives him a body. Lecision keeps it in nicely at the blue line. Kriva-Krasov can't get a hold of it. It is flipped back through center by Andrew Castles and skated down by Andy Sutton. Laaksonen tried to feed it to Dowd, and Brent Sopel will take it. Sopel, 23-year-old from Calgary, hits it across the blue line area, and now Curtis Lecision will skate down the loose puck. Matt Cook bodies him. Andy Sutton comes away with it. Sutton back to Lecision, and the one will work the breakout. Good lead pass to Antti Laaksonen. Crosses the red line, dumps it in. Puck died on the carom off the backboards, and Helmer clears it to the blue line where Sekrish keeps it in. Stacey Roos trying to work on Brian Helmer. Helmer gets it back where O'Donnell is standing, and the Wild try to gain the zone one more time. Sushinsky, Bartos, and Roos on this forward line. Matt Cook. Lead pass misses. Sekrish touches first. Will have an icing. He does. And 14:59 remains in the third period. Ready for an Olbermann fix? Sunday night just got a whole lot better as the Keith Olbermann Evening News airs tonight at 10 p.m. on Fox Sports Net. Every Sunday night, Keith provides his unique perspective on the world of sports, wrapping up the week's events and taking a look forward to what's ahead. The Keith Olbermann Evening News tonight at 10 o'clock right here on Fox Sports Net.
Michael, also a big get well to Michael Blood, the Edina police officer who was involved in that bank robbery just a couple of weeks ago. I know he's a big hockey fan, follows the Wild very closely, also involved in playing the game. So we certainly want to wish him all the best as he recovers from the shooting.
Jovanovski will bring it out of the zone. McKenna keeps it in at the blue line. O'Coin skates it down. And back through center, the puck will come. Benesic over towards Laxinen. Gavey is on this line. Morrison will bring it across the line. Brendan Morrison played collegiately for Red Berenson and the Michigan Wolverines of the CCHA. Michigan State in town this weekend to take on the Gophers. Ron Mason, the winningest coach in college hockey history.
And Michigan was here also. They beat the Gophers last night 4-1. So you've got Brendan Morrison, Trent Platt head-to-head, and you also have Cam Stewart.
That's right.
Nielsen and Hendrickson.
Left for Bertuzzi. Shot save, rebound in front, and cleared out. Yeah, Cammy Stewart, a few years older than Brendan Morrison. Yeah. But wore the Maison blue nonetheless. Kriva Krasov banned on a shot. Darby Hendrickson out of the lineup today, the Gopher, suffering that concussion a few games back. He, a former Vancouver Canuck. Sopel moves it up ahead. Down, spins, and the shot goes off for Kriva Krasov. And it is cleared out by Todd Bertuzzi. Icing, yes, as Sekerish gets there first. 13:47 remains in the third. The Canucks have pulled to within one. Time to check out what's on tap. Brought to you by our friends at Bud Light. Wild and the Coyotes. Our coverage begins. Barry Butel in the pregame show Thursday, 7:30 p.m. in the Valley of the Sun, America West Arena. Wyatt Smith playing well for the Phoenix Coyotes. And the net again moves off the pegs. 13:40 remains. Wild 3, Canucks 2. If you joined us late, Antti Laxinen with goals number 4 and 5 on the season. One of those was shorthanded. Wes Wall scored a shorthanded goal also in the second period, his 6th goal of the season. Daniel Sedin finished the second period scoring with his 8th goal of the year. That came on the power play, and then Trent Platon 7 seconds into this one. And now the refs are even knocking the net off the peg.
little dance there.
Now it's better than getting hit with a stick or a puck if you're Greg Kimberly.
The old days, the goal judge used to stand on the back of the net.
What?
Yes.
How old the days?
Well, before my time, I can tell you that.
Well, that's old.
Yeah, it is. But that's they used to stand on the back.
The goal judge used to stand on the back of the net in the old days.
Back. So one of the goals.
What's the punchline?
Yeah. There is no punchline. They went through more goal judges.
Thank you very little. Top Kurtz has me ready for you. We have many meetings. How behind the net it's Andrew Castles. He will not step there. Brian Helmer. O'Donnell. You thought you had that fish hook firmly planted, didn't you?
It's true.
All right.
Would I lie to you?
Yes, you would. Out of the zone comes Brian Helmer. In fact, he tried to do a tailing. Benesic gets it across to Bombardier. 12:52 on the clock, and Stacey Roost at center. I like that fake. Looks like he's going to dump it in the corner, and the last minute readjusts and sends it towards net. See if he can catch the goalie leaning. Up ahead, it's Schaefer. Schaefer across the line. A drive, a rebound! And cleared aside as Jovanovski came barreling in towards Manny Fernandez.
Well, Jovanovski has not done much in this game. We've heard so much about him, but in this third period now, he's starting to step it up just a little bit. He's got that size we talked about. He's not afraid to step up on the play, and you want your defenseman to do that, especially when you're behind. Watch here. Here's the initial shot coming by Schaefer at the goal. And Jovanovski trying to use that big body of his at 6'2", 205 pounds, just goes for the net. Canadian Hockey League all-rookie team back in 1993-94 with Windsor, and of course made the NHL all-rookie team with Florida back in '96.
94, the top pick overall in the NHL draft. Started his career with the Panthers. One thing about Jovanovski, he cut down his penalty minutes last year to just 54. Scored 5 goals, and so he was much more disciplined because he had over 100 penalty minutes in each of his 4 prior NHL seasons.
He's been compared to Scott Stevens a little bit from the New Jersey Devils, who's a very solid player. He's not quite there yet, but he's improving each year.
You know, when you trade Pavel Bure for him, you're banking on him becoming Scott Stevens, aren't you?
Absolutely.
Out of the zone, the puck will come. It'll be chased down by Adrian Aucoin. Aucoin actually played a year at Boston University for Jack Parker in Hockey East before playing for the Canadian Olympic team. He has spent his entire professional career with the Vancouver Canucks. Brashear tries to clear it out of the zone. McKenna on the forecheck. Pellerin has it. Looking for Gavey. Shot. Loose in front. And Potvin will hold on. Now, we talked about Felix Potvin, but Bob Essenza deserves some credit. He was a backup last year in Phoenix to Sean Birkin, played well. Garth Snow was the backup to Potvin past season. But Essenza 6-1, 2.17 goals against. If he can come in and spell Potvin and be as effective as he has been, that just breeds competition for Mark Crawford's team.
Well, absolutely. I mean, we talked about the goaltending, and they just feel that Potvin is not the better of the two goaltenders right now. Actually, I think Essenza is a little bit better when you look at his record of 6 victories and 1 loss on the year. But they want both these goaltenders to get equal time in case of an injury. Something happens. You want to have that strength between the pipes.
Dowd to Laxinen. Laxinen trying to get it back to Jim Dowd. Soper is in on it, and Laxinen wants it. Laxinen gets it towards the point. Shot by Benesic. Score! Antti Laxinen! His first career hat trick! And the Wild lead 4-2!
Oh, boy. Well, he's going to want to be interviewed again, I can tell you that. But that is the first career, as you mentioned, a hat trick for Antti Laxinen. And he puts it away, and look at the congratulations he is getting from his teammates, and deservedly so, as they've opened up the gap again, a 2-goal lead. And just once again, when you watch this, watch where his stick is, because it's down on the ice. And we try to tell the players, you know, the youngsters as well as the pros, if you put your stick in the right position, you can get those deflections. Watch here, moving along the boards, battling here, taking in the man, but the puck coming right back to the point. Perfect play right here. Watch Laxton come out of the corner. And look where there's a shot just a little bit wide. You've got to have the teammates who have to muck it up in the corner to get the puck out there. And that's what has happened here. Nice little play here by Kriisa Krasov. Back to the point. Took a look. The shot wide. He was right there. It's in the net. And now it's hat time for the fans. Now they have littered the ice with a number of hats in honor of the first career hat trick by this youngster, and also the first in Wild history.
Antti Laxinen will be the answer to a future trivia question. Who scored the first hat trick in Minnesota Wild history? The answer, number 24, Antti Laxinen. And most importantly, the Wild have regained a 2-goal lead. Also on that goal, Sergei Kriva-Krasov gets his first point in a Minnesota Wild uniform. Puck skated down, touched by Sutton, icing is called. So it will be Antti Laxinen, his 6th of the season, 3rd of the afternoon at 8:20 from Ladislav Benesic and Sergei Kriva-Krasov.
Well, Benesic with a good shot coming that point position, also keeping the puck nice and low where it can be deflected. Kriva-Krasov will bring some numbers to this hockey club offensively. I mean, he has got such great skill. Of course, missed a number of games with that knee injury suffered back in October. He comes in here and so light on his feet when you watch him skate. And a little bit of happiness going right now on that Minnesota Wild bench.
And justifiably so.
Yeah.
How about that, Antti Laxinen? You make the argument we have before that Antti Laxinen has been the most consistent forward for this team the past 3.5, 4 weeks. And he proves it here again on this Sunday afternoon. Remember, he had the overtime game winner against Calgary a couple of weeks ago. 4-2 Minnesota, 11:14 remains in the 3rd period. Aucoin brings it out and through center. And that will deflate this Vancouver team a bit. As Sekrish moves it ahead to Nielsen. Nielsen walking around Jovanovski, knocked down on the play. No penalty call. Play goes right on, and Jovanovski will bring it out. They'll start the breakout behind the back of Platt. Stepping in to take the pass was O'Donnell. Jovanovski looks. Here is Laxinen. And Marcus Naslund gets it over, and it'll be skated down by Sekrish. Line change being made by Mark Crawford's Vancouver Canucks. Slaps it in, dumps it into the zone. Wild are going to be judged and tested this week. Vancouver today, one of the top teams in the Western Conference. Then San Jose, a team which is playing brilliantly this season, followed by Phoenix and Los Angeles. So far, so good in test number 1. As Kriva Krasov dances in the neutral zone and gets it to Stacey Roos. Roos, stick handling in front of the net. LeChance will take it and clear it aside, but not out. Sushinsky, Bartos, hammered by Drukin. No penalty called. Moving in, shot, waiting. Roos over skates. Pretty idea for Maxim Sushinsky and Stacey Roos.
Great idea. Just a puck a little bit out of reach where you can control the puck.
Fans are reacting to the great play of the Minnesota Wild. Sushinsky in front, Roos safe. Bartos! Is it in? It is not. Smothered in front of the net.
Oh, are we having fun or what?
Is this ever any good? They are on their feet, 18,000 strong. We'll be back in a moment.
Barely shot to Warren, covering the puck in the crease.
Welcome back, XL Energy Center. It appears as if the Minnesota Wild are going to be awarded a penalty shot as the puck was smothered by defenseman Greg Hawgood inside the crease area.
Well, who's going to take the penalty shot? We've seen one already this season. Scott Pellerin had an opportunity, was not able to put it in, but now we are going to see the chance. And Mr. Sushinsky is going to take it. Well, this guy has got some great skills. One of the leading scorers in the Russian League as he moves in right now.
Here comes Maxim Sushinsky against Potvin. Working, moving, forehand. Save made by the Cat. Sushinsky kind of lost the handle, looking for his 8th goal of the season. And the penalty shot opportunity goes for naught.
Like, I can't tell you the pressure that a player feels in that situation.
Yes,
you can do this all the practices you want, but until you stand in that position, watch Potvin here. Look how he is square, and look how he's going back into that net, nice and deep, following it. So if he makes a play, he's got that extra second, that extra time he's going to need. You can see him trying to get the puck up high there. He made the good move, not happy with it, made the good move, but he was in so tight to the goaltender, he couldn't get it up high enough, and Potvin made a great play.
So Potvin makes the save. Greg Hawgood, the defenseman of Vancouver, had his hand on the puck in the crease. That is why we had the power play or the penalty shot opportunity. Sushinsky misses it, but Minnesota leads 4-2.
They should have picked a defenseman.
They needed Ken Dryden in it. And Tommy Reed barreling in. Shot by Bartos just missed. Of course, Sushinsky has the right number on, partner.
It certainly does.
And he shoots the right way.
It didn't go in.
No, it didn't. Well, maybe he didn't close his eyes like you did against Dryden.
Right.
Across the line, Bertuzzi offside is called. Everything going on this Sunday. This is the place to be in St. Paul. This is the place to be in the Upper Midwest. This is the place to watch hockey on TV.
Well, it gets a little scrambly at times. Watch Sushinsky with the puck here. Try the old wraparound play. Comes right back in front, and you'll watch Potvin as the puck comes back in front, just squirts off of his stick right here. Potvin comes across, makes the save. Watch that puck. It's going to come to his left. And you'll see it. Does it go in? Oh, boy. Nice play. Can't reach it. Who grabbed onto it?
It was either Hawgood or Drukin, I think.
One of them. Regardless who it was a penalty shot, but no goal for Maxim Sushinsky, taking his first penalty shot with the Minnesota Wild.
Cook. McKenna. Gavey lost his stick. He'll get new lumber. And the puck is kept out of the zone by Curtis' decision. Steve McKenna tries to spin. He and Brashear will battle right in front of the Canuck bench.
That was a good play by McKenna because he took the puck back along the boards. He couldn't go across ice, and he had no speed, but just wanted to protect as best he could.
McKenna now on the back check gets to the loose puck just enough to get it to Walls. Here comes Laxinen. 3-on-2 if they hurry. And Antti Laxinen happy to dump it in, get a line change. Make the line change when you're on the offensive. Watch out as you go for the bench. Almost ran into Lubomir Sekric.
And the players are saying, you guys, we don't need more goals.
Yep.
But we got to play smart defensively without going into that defensive shell that you hear about so often.
Sedin. Wild had allowed just 2 goals in the last 3 games coming into this contest against the highest scoring team in the NHL, the Vancouver Canucks. Kriva-Krasov crosses the line. Kriva-Krasov shot knocked down by Jovanovski, cleared up by O'Coin. Henrik Sedin across towards brother Daniel and flipped aside by Sekric. Over to the near side again, Adrian O'Coin. O'Coin, Schaefer quickly looking for the Sedins. A couple of different centermen and line mate for the Sedin twins here today. Henrik Sedin and Daniel Sedin. Daniel with a goal, Henrik with an assist in the contest this afternoon. O'Coin a long drive. Knuckleball to the side of Manny Fernandez. Sekric will take it and leave for O'Donnell. 7.5 minutes on the clock. And the Wild looking to extend their unbeaten streak to 4 games. A win against Boston, a tie against Calgary, a win 2 days ago against Chicago, and still time on the clock here against Vancouver. To the point, Sopel. Through the glove of Sekric, flipped aside by Fernandez, and center towards Marcus Naslund, dancing, backhand shot. Manny Fernandez makes the save.
Boy, what a nice play by Naslund. He took that puck and was able just to cut to his right and make a little wraparound and get the shot on net.
4 goals allowed in the last 4 games. That is the most impressive statistic amongst this streak. The other most impressive, the Wild outscoring their opponents 13-4 during this hopeful 4-game unbeaten streak.
And the nice thing is this team, as we talked about before, going on the road for a 3-game road trip, and there's nothing better than to go out on a winning note, winning something at home, taking advantage of those hometown fans, and that's what the Wild are trying to do here right now. They still have a 2-goal lead in this game. 7 minutes to go, 7:04 to be exact. But the thing also, you look at the shots in that, Vancouver leads in that department, but the quality of shots is what you have to be aware of.
Well, Tom, and struggles were apparent here in the XL Energy Center. The Wild went about a half-dozen games without a victory. I think they were 0-4-1. To be exact, when they tied Calgary the other night. And so to get potentially back-to-back home victories is huge for this team. He wants this building to be one that opposing teams don't like to play in.
They certainly want to put the hex on, but they are playing well enough in this game to walk away here with 2 points. But Vancouver, I mean, are they frustrated? Yes. Are they embarrassed? Perhaps. You're not supposed to lose against expansion teams. And so I'm sure Mark Crawford, that's why they had that quick start in that 3rd period, getting that goal just at 7 seconds to bring it things a little bit closer.
But on that same hand, can they strike quickly? Yes. And they can score in bunches. Cook just missed Harold Drukin. Sushinsky just onside on the 2-line pass. Leaves it for Roos. Back towards Sushinsky. And the puck goes out of play. Doug Reinsbrough and I talked during the first intermission about how Stacey Roos and Maxim Sushinsky are really starting to find each other.
Well, they're certainly not giants in stature, but they are giants when it comes to being able to move that puck. And the chemistry is coming together for these guys. Remember that Sushinsky does not speak very good English, so the communication gap is there somewhat. And by working together on the ice, the body language says an awful lot. You have to go into long sentences to explain to someone what you want them to do in certain situations. And these 2 guys, even on the bench, you can see trying to understand what they want each person to do and agreeing or disagreeing, whatever it may be. But that's the part of this team, this sport. It's a team sport. You've got to communicate with each other.
Jovanovski usually communicates physically, doesn't he? As does Donald Brashear. Curtis Leschyshyn trying to clear it up. McKenna getting another quick shift here. Steve McKenna very strong defensively. They'll bang with Bartos and company on this line. Jovanovski walking around McKenna. McKenna ties him up just long enough. And Leschyshyn steps in to help. Platt was there. Sutton drives him into the boards. The Wild able to clear it out of the zone. Bartos quickly up towards Felix Potvin. He'll be forced to play, and the icing will be waved off.
You notice that whole play on the Minnesota end was on the perimeter, was on the outside on the board, but no shots coming to the center.
That's what Mark Crawford talked about at the top of the show when he was nice enough to sit down and try to break down, trying to attack the trap. But Crawford's team has only scored 2 goals against Minnesota, and they trail by a deuce. 1,064 in attendance today at the XL Energy Center, watching the Minnesota Wild lead the Vancouver Canucks by a score of 4-2. Mike Olber, Tom Reed, our fine crew working this Thanksgiving weekend holiday. Not once, but twice on Friday and again today. Penalty forthcoming. It's going to go against Minnesota. Potvin is out of the net. Or is there a penalty?
No, they
pulled
the goaltender.
They have pulled the goaltender. Mark Crawford with a little trickery here with 5.5 minutes in the game, trying to jumpstart his team offensively. The net is empty, and Schaefer looks to leave it for Sedin. Bombardier is there. How close has Puck been to being able to get back on the ice, I wonder? Not very. He is by a door, though, on the bench, and the puck is cleared out. He's right by that door there. If he wants to jump back in.
You know what? This is a good move by Crawford. I mean, it's a kind of a surprise attack. The Wild certainly were not expecting it. Now the Wild have got to be careful. They don't just shoot the puck down the ice to get an icing call.
Wall's thinking about exactly what you talked about. Instead of falling into the trap of shooting it on the net, Tom, he just flips it ahead, and now Cook has it in the neutral zone. So 6-on-5, the attackers. Empty net, no penalty, no delayed penalty. And behind is Matt Cook. Cook Sekers. Sedin is in pressuring. Matt Cook wants to leave for Henrik Sedin. Walls is in deep. Walls trying to stick him around the man. He does, and Nielsen clears it out to center. Skated down by Hoggood. Net is empty. Don't forget, Hoggood clears it off the glass.
Boy,
Nielsen.
Surprised he made that type of a move there, because if it doesn't come out properly, all of a sudden he gives it up. Better to use that net as protection.
Manny Fernandez trying to clear it out himself. Hoggood bouncing puck to the side. 4 minutes on the clock. Net has been empty for about 60 seconds. Potvin still on the bench. Attack still 6-5 Vancouver. Hoggood looking for it. Here's Drukin. Stick handling shot. Save. And frozen. Almost worked. Let's see if he keeps Felix Potvin on the bench.
Well, he might do that. The faceoffs in the fire zone, but a little bit of a scramble right now by the players as they all come together. Nice little play also by Harold Drukin as he came in and had to go to the backhand, though. Couldn't get to the forehand where he wanted to take that shot, and going right to the netminder. You can see Kriisa Krasov and LaChance having a few words with each other, but right now is not the time on either side to take dumb penalties. Puck in the battling here in the corner. You can see O'Donnell trying to get rid of it here, but watch, comes right up to the wrong player, unfortunately. And you can see Drukin coming right in here, a little bit of a slash, using the sticks, and a little grab in from behind by Castles. He moves in there, grab onto the assistant captain, O'Donnell. Harold Drukin, just in his second year as a pro, very creative, highly skilled player.
He led the Ontario Hockey League, the OHL, in goal scoring with the Plymouth Whalers a couple of years ago. Did Harold Drukin with 58 goals and 103 points, Tom. So he's a guy coming into his own, and as I mentioned earlier, just recalled from the Kansas City Blades of the International Hockey League.
Well, the thing also with him is, not, you look at the 58 goals, but you look at the 45 assists also with that in that year. So he's a guy who can make the plays as well as pop that puck into the net.
So penalties both ways, as sitting in the penalty box for the Wild is Sean O'Donnell, and Trent Platt is in the box for the Vancouver Canucks. Both of the penalties coming at 16:08. Roughing is going to be the call. And high sticking against O'Donnell. So roughing against Platt, high sticking against O'Donnell. Both come at 16:08. Face off, pushed in. Net is still empty, Tom. Net is still empty. So it's 5-on-4 attacker-wise now. Now this is it's not an advantage when you're shorthanded. Shot saved once, twice. Well done, Manny Fernandez. Peter Schaefer right there. I was starting to say, though, Tom, the one thing the Wild can do here, though, with the net empty, they can fire at the length of the ice and not have an icing call. Not that you want to be shorthanded. No, I'm sorry.
No, they can't.
Take that back. Yep, no. Even penalties. My apologies.
Yeah. Sure.
Seeing the 5-on-4 confusing myself.
It's another test you're giving me here, aren't you? You watch it. Look at that pad save, and look, standing right on the doorstep was Schaefer, who thought he was going to get the puck up high enough. And how many times have we seen the players not able to lift that puck, to rooftop that puck into the net? And you don't have much of a chance because you know someone's going to be on you right away. We don't see the slashing we used to see. We don't get those penalties being called very much anymore because the players have gotten smarter about using those sticks.
So the net is empty, and the teams technically are at even strength. Jovanovski working it behind the net. Peter Schaefer, Todd Bertuzzi, loose in front, cleared just out past the stick of O'Coin. Jovanovski circling in the neutral zone. 3:20 on the clock. Pellerin flips it ahead. Just past Jim Dowd. Brendan Morrison skates it down. One man in the box in Platt for Vancouver. One man in the box in O'Donnell. Forget about that icing thing I was talking about. That was wrong. Schaefer behind to Brendan Morrison. Here is Schaefer. inside the Wild zone. Schaefer controlling. Skating it out. Looking down at Brendan Morrison. Sneaking into the back post is Jovanovski. To the point is O'Coin. Back to Morrison. A drive is wide of the net. O'Coin can't skate down the loose puck.
That's the danger. That shot by Morrison, wide of the net. Nobody on the far side. The puck comes all the way out of the zone. Kills off that clock.
Morrison again. Bertuzzi. Oh, good defensive play by Bombardier. Took it right off his stick.
Yeah.
And now Pellerin. Just gets it to an open space. Lecision and Sopel in a foot race. Curtis Lecision trying to work strong on the puck. Flips it ahead. It's behind the net. Walls has it there. Almost playing goalie as Brent Sopel. Jovanovski's mauling him.
That's a penalty.
Mauling him. And play goes right on.
That was a penalty.
Sopel across the line.
Call him, guys.
And now it is Marcus Naslund. 2 minutes, 6 seconds remains. 15 seconds in each of these penalties. Puck cleared, touched up by Hawgood. Icing will be called. We've seen just about everything here today, partner. A hat trick, a couple of shorthanded goals. Mark Crawford pulled his goalie for most of the third period.
Yeah.
We've seen it all.
Yes, we certainly have. You know, we talk about players around the state and how they have responded to the challenge. Our congratulations to Renee Curtin. We talk about the girls hockey out of Roseville with the Raiders there. She's the all-time leading hockey scorer in the state, boys or girls. Picked up 4 goals and assists last night against Sibley in their 7-4. But in 4, she has 472 career points, which helped her team to a couple of state titles back in '96 and '99. And look at Wes Walls, a little bit of a shoulder problem here. Going back to Renee just for a second, and Laura Halverson at the University of Minnesota would like to have her join her sister, Rhonda, who's at the university.
Women's National Championship will be played at Mariucci this year. First time it'll be an NCAA championship, which is wonderful for women's collegiate hockey. 2 out of the box, puck knocked down. Kept in by Platt. Took the shot and was deflected wide of the net. Naslund. 3 blue jerseys in. Net has been empty for a long time. Naslund shot wide. Cook was in on it. Extra attacker on the ice for Vancouver still. Naslund shot. O'Donnell just got enough of Naslund's sticks that the puck just feathered wide of Manny Fernandez. Naslund looking in front, loose, and Fernandez will hold on.
You know, that's one of the things I like about Mark Crawford also, Mike, is the fact that he's very creative. You know, able to ascertain what's happening on the ice here. Most coaches will not pull their goaltender until about 1 minute and 10 seconds to go. He thought, you know what, let's try something a little bit different. And he does that. He's not afraid to step out of the box and do some of the things that he thinks might jumpstart this team and get that extra goal that he's looking for.
Now, it doesn't matter if you lose 4-2 or 5-2. It does matter if you lose. And so why not take the opportunity, especially with the Wild playing such a solid defensive game here in the third period that the Canucks weren't getting anything 5-on-5, so he had to try to jumpstart the offense.
I don't have the exact time, but I know that Pavan came out of the net at about the 14:30 mark, and Minnesota hasn't obviously got a shot yet.
Oh, they did that time. The Vancouver Canucks did. O'Coin with a big drive and the rebound. Drukin couldn't bury it. Fernandez with a couple more saves.
When you get those chances, you've got to put them away, and that is, you know, the face-offs being critical once again, winning them. You get it back to your own point position, and that's what you're trying to do. Look at the traffic coming in front here. And watch the rebound right here. Oh, boy. I need to have that shot again. 5 minutes and 12 seconds now. That net has been empty.
Face-off win again. O'Coin tries to move it ahead. Drukin to keep it in the zone. They do. Jovanovski has it. Fired in towards Castles. And Gavey tries to clear it out. Puck is back in the neutral zone. 1 minute remains. Henrik Sedin in front. Loose puck. And flipped aside. Jovanovski a drive knocked down by Nielsen. And Nielsen blocks a shot of Andrew Castles. Now Pellerin is on it. Kept in by Sedin. Daniel. And cleared back out by Lecision. Curtis.
Nice play by Lecision, playing in game number 799 of his career.
Drukin flipped in. The icing is waved off. O'Donnell flies it around the boards. Daniel Sedin up towards Marcus Naslund. That is an offside. 21.6 seconds remains.
Well, Naslund was trying to reach that puck, but he was backing up initially. Had to kind of change directions just a little bit. As you mentioned, 21.6 seconds to go in period number 3, and the fans are staying here for this one. They won't see their team in this building for a while as the team embarks on a three-game road trip starting tomorrow. Goalie's back in.
Disney on ice coming to the XL Energy Center. And why do you put the goalie back in now? Well, the faceoff's in the neutral zone.
But even so.
If you're going to keep him out that long, you might as well just keep him out. But we're up here. 15 seconds. Wild 4. Canucks 2. Sutton. Brashear. Laxinen, the hero today. Final seconds will tick away. Minnesota Wild unbeaten in their past 4 games. And for the first time in franchise history, back-to-back victories right here at the XL Energy Center. Antti Laxinen, the superstar on this occasion.
And the players enjoying the accolades from their fans here at the center, as you talked about, and Manny Fernandez doing the job he had to do, especially in that third period when 12 shots were directed his way.
Antti Laxinen, the Dodge player who made the difference, a factor in all 4 goals. 3 goals and 1 assist, the first coming from Bombardier, and then the shorthanded goal. It was Antti Laxinen's night, Tom.
Well, it certainly was. And, you know, there's games you just feel good going into under the ice and going into the war zone, as you would call it sometimes, but this guy's got great skills and great speed, and he made the difference in this game.
What a holiday present over the Thanksgiving weekend for Wild fans. Wild victorious on a Sunday afternoon. So for my partner Tom Reed, I'm Mike Goldberg saying so long from the XL Energy Center. Wild defeat the Canucks 4-2. Be sure to join us this Thursday night from the Valley of the Sun, Phoenix, Arizona, when the Wild take on Jeremy Roenick, Keith Tkachuk, and the Phoenix Coyotes. Live coverage begins with a pregame report at 7:30 Central Time. You've been watching Fox Sports Net coverage of the Minnesota Wild. Coming up next, Big Ten Volleyball, Minnesota